All right. Hello, hello, hello. All gone. Thank you for making me aware of this. It appears that we have a situation taking place right now between Israel and Syria. Sirens sound in Golan Heights. Residents urged to enter shelters. This was just posted a short time ago. Sirens sounded in the Golan Heights overnight, Wednesday to Thursday, as Arabic language reports said Israel targeted a Syrian regime post across the border with artillery fire amid sky-high tensions on the northern border, and the Israeli army said it was investigating what had triggered the sirens. So we have that. We have the AP was reporting. Let's see here. AP has reported that Israeli army says air raid sirens have sounded in the Golan Heights. Syria agency reports that rockets suspected to be coming from Israel hit southern Syria. Okay, we have that so far. There's a number of things here popping up as far as that goes. If you're in the chat, by the way, folks, hop in there, say hi, let me know you're here. I was just out fishing a little while ago, so I need a shower, okay? I've been crawling around with fish, but you're not that intimate. I don't smell. I don't smell, but I've been out fishing. Just got back, put up the story about the Kilauea volcano, and now I'm on to this. Okay, what else do we have being reported on this little matter here, folks? Local residents report loud Israeli artillery strikes in response. Unconfirmed reports of projectiles launched from Syria. Okay, so there is a back and forth right now between Israel and Syria. This is from Anna Ehrenheim, who is a military correspondent with the Jerusalem Post via Twitter. And what else do we have taking place here right now? Israeli tanks were seen on the border with Syria earlier today. Military equipment continues to be brought to the border today, as well as Israel prepares for possible Iranian attack. You know, again, I can't say for sure, but this is sounding more and more like, if not the fulfillment of Psalm 83, potentially Gog Magog coming into being. But we have to watch to see what Russia has in store, because Russia would be a big part of it. Folks, pop in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'm having a cup of green tea right now. Green tea, okay? I try to drink that too, more than just coffee. I mean, not as much as coffee. I drink green tea as well. That's some hot stuff. Some hot stuff on a hot day. Got the blue bottle of water right here too. Got the Beeville Diner t-shirt on. A great place to eat in upstate New York, the Beeville Diner. Diners, drive-ins, and dives. That guy, Guy Fieri, he'd be wise to check that place out. Okay, so that's what we have going on right now. Is we have an exchange again between Syria and Israel, and of course, you know that the Iranians are in the middle of this. And again, this only has one potential outcome, and it's less than favorable. We're going to have again, we're looking at the possibility again of prophetic fulfillment. Something as simple as, well, I shouldn't say simple. It could be Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1, Damascus becoming a ruinous heap. Damascus is already in a very, very bad shape. You could have Psalm 83, that war with Israel and her neighbors. This could be the hook in the jaw to provoke Gog Magog, where you have Iran, Israel, and a host of Middle Eastern neighbors. I shouldn't say Israel, Iran, Russia, and a host of Middle Eastern neighbors, excuse me, like Syria, Iraq, moving in on Israel, but God strikes those craft down. Welcome aboard. Okay, we've got all gone in here. We've got Rachel Brady. We've got Nissa Nicole. Thanks for popping in. All gone again. Thanks for tipping me off to that, because I was about to pretty much go into a vegetative state for the rest of the evening. I've been out in the hot sun fishing since early this morning, coming in to do news and going back out again. folks, please pop in the chat, say hi. There is the super chat down there. I'm not going to harp on that, okay? But if you want to buy me a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, what did I catch today? I caught four chain pickerel. I caught 2 fall fish, if you're familiar with those, in 2 different spots. Again, I was out chasing after bowfin. Okay, the bowfin that I want to catch. I love bowfin, but what most people call dogfish, they call them grinnell, they call them cypress trout. Bowfin, love those things, absolutely. But I got 4 big pickerel today while fishing for bowfin. Saw some bass. They didn't bite. I was even trying to catch suckers today. I saw a school of suckers, and I was trying to catch them, but they wouldn't bite. Dogfish, they'll bite you. I mean, they have old school warrior. They have sharp teeth. They're predatory fish, just like pike, just like pickerel. We got Clark Kent in here. We've got All Gone. We've got Nissa Nicole. We're trying to keep track of Rachel Brady. We've got her as well. We're trying to keep track of what is happening now again between Israel and Syria. There's been an exchange of armaments back and forth. Israel evidently was moving tanks to the border earlier today in anticipation of a possible Iranian invasion. Okay. And we have air raid sirens sounding. We've had a back and forth. Evidently, Syria has fired back at Israel. Israel, of course, was probably the one that got this going, hitting some Iranian targets embedded in Syria. I'm trying. Okay, here's some updates again from Anna Ehrenheim through Twitter. She's a reporter with the Jerusalem Post. Let me get a sip here, okay? Good green tea. Good. It's good antioxidants. Make you big and strong. Okay, IDF says 20 projectiles were fired toward Israel's forward defense line in the Golan Heights by troops belonging to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force. Again, we've been expecting this. This has been tacitly threatened already. Now, Iron Dome missile defense system intercepted several projectiles. No injuries or fatalities reported. So that's what Anna Ehrenheim just tweeted a couple minutes ago. I'm looking at another source here to see if anything new has gone up on this. That source, no. Checking this over here. See, again, there's been some videos of projectiles flying through the sky, you know, those white lights flying through the air. It's pretty. It's pretty until it lands. So again, the report is that Iranian Quds forces. Okay, this is a flash from Israel breaking news. IDF says Iranian Quds forces launched around 20 projectiles toward Israel in the past hour. Okay, again, I can't say for sure. This sounds like the start of a war right here, folks. Multiple Iron Dome interceptions occurred, no casualties. If you have the Quds forces now firing into Israel or toward Israel, you know that this is not going to just fade away. And tomorrow morning, we're going to be hearing all about Robert Mueller and Stormy Daniels. And as a Christian man, if I can say the bullshit that is associated with that they're trying to distract us with. Does the USA have an Iron Dome defense system? I don't think so, old school warrior. I don't think so. To the best of my knowledge, we probably have something similar to that. Yes. Brian Cap. I won't call you Bree this time, Brian. Brian Cap, welcome aboard. Howdy. Yeah, Patriot and the THAAD system. That's very similar, Algon. That's a good point. Very similar to what the Iron Dome that is employed by Israel. Similar function. Need another sip of tea, okay, folks? I need my green tea, you know, my antioxidants. I used to think they were called antioxygens. In other words, they would suffocate you. Looking for more updated information. You know this is not going to pass quietly into the night. Again, residents in this area of Israel have been urged into bomb shelters. Again, the latest, IDF says Iranian forces fired 20 rockets at Israel. Iron Dome intercepts some. Now, so far, no injuries reported. But again, this actually may have been precipitated by Iran's Quds forces, Iran's Revolutionary Guard. They may have fired first here. I don't know. This is what I'm trying to pinpoint right now. Let's see if there's anything new updated here. Again, this is significant, folks. Whether you follow Bible prophecy or not, Israel is God's prophetic timepiece. And what happens in Israel will have an effect around the rest of the world, a significant effect, not to be taken lightly, not to be laughed at, not to be, it's just the damn Jews, blah, 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 blah. No, no, this is important stuff, folks. And no matter what your feelings are about Israel, about her people, it is important to bear in mind that this is some serious material that we are looking at. The Star Wars defense system, I'm skeptical of that, old school warrior. One true God, hello, welcome aboard. Good to see you in here. I am looking at Anna Ehrenheim on Twitter. That's one of the things I'm looking at right now. All right. Okay. So I'm looking for some updated information here. All right. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I can't show you this stuff. For the first time, okay. For the first time, Assad regime is retaliating using MRLS to strike Golan, Syria. This is from Kalat El Modik. So again, you may have as many as several different forces involved in this situation right now. The way it's looking, we're going to see what else is popping up here. Nothing new here, nothing new here. But again, to review, if you're just popping in, evidently 20 projectiles were fired by the Iranian National Revolutionary Guard, Iranian Revolutionary Guard, not the National Guard. Quds forces fired 20 projectiles toward Israel. Iron Dome took some of those down. As of right now, there's no reports of any injuries. Again, this is one of those things that's going to flush out over time. There's a lot of different things popping up on this right now. I am going to hang with this for a while and try to keep an eye on it, try to get to the bottom of it. Now, Clark Kent writes, that's strange. If it is the first time retaliating, why do it at the height of tensions? I don't know. I mean, again, we're only trying to guess right now why these things take place the way they do, trying to rationalize them, trying to find something logical in all of this. We may not be able to do that. Brian Cap says Iron Dome totally rocks. I agree. Shooting from the ground up, not shooting from the air down. That's the way it appears, old school warrior. Shooting from the ground up, with some manner of missiles, probably. I am venturing a guess. Hopefully that sounds like a reasonably intelligent guess. To switch gears for a second, this situation with the Kilauea volcano isn't quieting down. Now we're concerned, as I just reported, about rocks being thrown for dozens of miles from this thing. There's still more eruptions. There's concerns of more eruptions, more gas. You've got the VOG, which is a volcanic fog. This situation is not going away. Honestly, of course, I am no seismologist. This thing has lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. So we have the Kilauea situation too right now. And is it a precursor for something else along the Ring of Fire? Is there going to be something significant take place where that is concerned? That's what we've got right now. As far as who is in control and who isn't, well, that's the big story over there. Oh, by the way, Chemical Skies. Hey, bro. Hey, I didn't acknowledge you when you were in there. That's sorry about that. I try to catch you all as you pop in, but sometimes I can't. Again, I want to mention just briefly, please allow me this. There is the super chat if you want to buy me another cup of green tea. I'd really like some cheesecake. That would be good. There's also the link to my new book, Light, a Wayfarer Story. Folks, if you're woke, if you're watching the world, if you're watching America now and maybe going a little way into the future, it's fiction. I think you got to read it. I really wish you would. Okay. That's all I'm going to say on that. That's linked below. Let's see if we can, if there's something else here we can catch up on. Again, nothing new. Actually, she has posted something new here. Okay. Uh, Again, the Syrian army is targeting Golan with a barrage of Grad rockets. Okay, the MRLS. So it's Grad rockets that are being fired out of Syria by Syria. Okay, we don't know what the Quds forces from Iran have fired. If they were the same type of rockets, or maybe they were something a little more sophisticated. We don't know. These are all things that we're going to be keeping track of here. Uh, Matthias Fisher, welcome aboard, my friend. Israel from Brazil. You are a long way from home. Assad, Assad is backed by the Americans. Okay, Assad is backed by the Americans, and there's probably a desire for the Rothschild banking system to move in there. And meanwhile, the Russians are actually, no, I've got that all mixed up. The Russians are backing Assad. Please forgive me, folks. And of course, the Americans are backing the rebel army. Okay, I can't think of the name right now. I mean, it's usually right on the tip of my tongue. But so we also have going on in Syria, aside from all this right now, we have this proxy war between Russia and the U.S. Evidently all these troops were going to be pulled out, but they're not. And we have this proxy war. We have Assad's forces. We have the rebel forces backed by the U.S. They continue to clash. So in a sense, folks, you have to say that it's a proxy war between Russia and the U.S. taking place. And now we have these events. We have these events involving Quds forces, the IDF, Syrian army. What we got here, folks, is a feces show. We've got a major feces show going on here, and it is the Free Syrian Army. Sometimes things I speak of the Free Syrian Army quite a bit, but yes, sometimes you just don't think of things on the spur of the moment, especially when you haven't had enough green tea. Thanks for that, Clark Kent. El Nusra Front, thank you. This is stuff that I'm usually quite up on, but at the moment I'm not. But I appreciate the assist out there very much. The assist, not the assist. Thank you so much. Always that possibility, old school warrior. Always that possibility. He may be innocent. This whole thing just looks so orchestrated to me. It just looks like this was all planned out some time ago. And now the powers that shouldn't be, the puppet masters, are just moving the marionettes around, everyone up to and including Kim Jong-un, and releasing those 3 prisoners today. This whole thing is all an orchestrated series of events for some desired result. Okay, we are seeing such gamesmanship right now. We're seeing games being played in multiple places in the world. Sure, we always have, but I don't believe anything is happening anymore purely out of the goodness of somebody's heart or out of the goodness of a desire for peace. There is no more desire for peace. Everything is being done by puppet masters, moving puppets, moving marionettes around. It's a game, and we're all being gamed right now. Everything you're seeing is that's exactly what one true God. I want to catch up on that. I'm going to shut my mouth for a minute and read this. Okay, there was a video of some high up military guy saying a memo was put on his desk to invade 5 countries in 6 years. Yeah, that goes back to Wesley Clark. Wesley Clark said that. Good gosh, he said that over 10 years ago. That was General Wesley Clark who said that way back around when George W. Bush, I think, was still president in his first term. That goes back quite a ways, but it seems like they're trying to follow that script. Yes, for whatever reason, and of course it does seem like we are moving through the Middle East, overthrowing every government. And I agree with you, old school warrior. I'm believing more and more he did not gas his people. I'm believing that if there was any gassing done, it was done by someone else, if it was even done at all. If it wasn't a completely false flag, make it look like one person did this or one group did this when another group actually did it. And if it even happened at all, just to precipitate some sort of military engagement. False flag indeed. False flag indeed. Just like 9/11. We have been in a season of false flags going back to 2001. we don't know what's going to happen next, folks. We just don't. Let me get another sip of tea here. I'm going to check my resources again and see if there's anything new on this. We can talk about Kilauea. We can talk about catching chain pickerel and bowfin. We can talk about all this stuff. We can talk about the nice sunburn I have now because I wasn't smart to put any sunscreen on. Pro-Syrian regime news. Again, this is from Anna Arenheim. I should probably pronounced Anna. I don't want to sound like a central New Yorker and say Anna, you know. Yeah, we all say you know around here, huh? You know. Pro-Syrian regime news outlet Al Mayadeen reporting any further strikes will be met by larger attack on Israel. Okay, so again, this is from Anna Arenheim. Again, she's a military correspondent with the Jerusalem Post, and she is saying that a pro-Syrian regime news outlet, Al Mayadeen, maybe you've heard of it, reporting any larger strikes will be met by a larger attack on Israel. And of course, you know that Iran is going to be behind that. Iran truly is the big dog where this stuff is concerned. And I'm just checking. All right, there we go. Okay. I have to see what's going on my Twitter page. What do I do with my Twitter page? I promote books and I promote news. I am very unsocial on social media. I'm strictly business on social media. Okay, so we have that now. And again, I'm trying to see what else as far as any additional any casualty reports, any additional armaments falling from the sky into. Okay. Again, this is also showing up in Israel breaking news. Hezbollah affiliated media says any further attacks by Israel will be met with larger attacks on Israel after Iranian forces launch around 20 rockets toward Israel tonight. You know that this is not over. You know that this is not over, folks. This is going to continue to be. This is going to continue to be a situation that. It may help take Robert Mueller out of the news and Stormy Daniels and Cohen and all these clowns that are being paraded to distract all of us. It doesn't distract me. I don't pay much attention to it, but I can't help but see. Thanks for the thumbs up, folks, by the way. And let me remind you to do that, too. If you haven't done so already, give this a thumbs up, share it. I'm going to stick with this a while longer. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so, okay? And hit the bell icon if you see it to get notifications. People still aren't getting notifications. That's a YouTube thing. YouTube is probably doing that intentionally. YouTube is suppressing me, absolutely. Absolutely. Keeps me pretty well hidden. They don't want you knowing about me because I don't toe the line. But also the link to my new book, Light a Wayfarer Story, in Kindle and paperback. You really ought to read it. If you're woke, you'll really be woke. Barf 245, we don't want to talk about this too much, but that's a really good point you mentioned right there. Treasury Department is investigating Stormy Daniels' lawyer because he got confidential bank records of Michael Cohen. And did I understand this correctly too, that maybe they are confusing this Michael Cohen with another Michael Cohen? Again, if you want to follow that, and I am not going to follow that. Then we are. There's that. Okay, but again, that's all part of the huger distraction. If you're looking for real things to follow, I would follow what we're talking about right now, because what we're seeing right now has real implications, more so than Mueller, Stormy Daniels, and all that group of people. The Russians hiding in every computer, and the Russians hiding behind every toilet, and the Russians influencing every election, and the Russians keeping Hillary Clinton from being elected, and blah, 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 blah. If you wanted to be distracted by that stuff, fine. This is the stuff we need to be paying attention to. This stuff will certainly have an influence on our events going into the future, no doubt about it. But it seems that after this report of Hezbollah-affiliated media saying further attacks by Israel will be met with larger attacks on Israel, There has been nothing new popping up since then, but you know this is fluid. This is going to be active. Why should we believe a prostitute? That's a good point, old school warrior. I wouldn't believe one. I'm more likely to believe my cup of tea, actually. All right. So who do we have in here? Let's say hello again to Clark Kent, all gone, old school warrior, Rachel S. One True God is in here. Barf 245 is in here. And I know there's more of you. Okay, I'm looking at my numbers. There's more of you. Pop in the chat and say hello. Just let us know you're here. Please give this a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe. Check out my latest book, and there is the super chat if you want to buy me a slice of cheesecake. That's what I'm working for today, a slice of cheesecake, okay? Did I see Putin and Netanyahu last night? No. Any meetings you see between those two are curious, because eventually Russia is going to move on Israel. So any meetings you see between those two right now, unless there is some sort of, unless they're setting it up together, and you can never be certain that isn't happening. Okay, Mandy Brem, hello, welcome aboard. We're starting to populate the place again. That's good. Old school warrior, do I eat all? I don't keep my fish. I release all the fish I catch. I don't keep any fish. I am catch and release. I truly love to just catch fish for the sport. I like to fight battling fish, and then I carefully release them. I like frozen fish. I like beer battered cod. That's what I like out of a box. That's the kind of fish I like to eat. All right. So, yes, bass player, welcome aboard. That's my Fender Telecaster back there, completely stock. Everything on that is Fender. That's the way I like Fender guitars. Everything Fender, Fender pickups, Fender machines, Fender everything. And that's she's a honey. She really is. She's a nice sounding guitar, plays really nice. One True God, you're not going to hear this stuff in the mainstream media. This is not the mainstream media's narrative. What we were just talking about a minute ago, Trump, Russia, collusion, Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen, Robert Mueller, blah, 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 Fusion GPS. That's the mainstream media's narrative. That's what they're interested in. This stuff is important. This stuff will have a bearing on things going ahead. There's nothing new going up at the moment, and again, I'm looking at a bunch of different things here, and it could be that we're in that stage now where they've got to sort it all out and see what took place. But you know that Israel is going to, when you had these armaments being fired by the Quds forces out of Iran, the Revolutionary Guard, excuse me. You know that there's going to be a retaliation. Okay, what do we have right here? Okay, nothing of any importance. The stuff that pops up sometimes as breaking news is just ridiculous. You know, geologists are still warning of a possible explosive event at the Kilauea volcano. Again, that's not over. That's not over by, yeah, I've been looking at that too, Barf 245. Could I play guitar? Right now, to bring it over here and play it would be difficult, okay? Because I don't have a lot of room where I'm situated right here. I'd have to get back away from my microphone, and, you know, I forgot how that goes, old school warrior. I forgot how the Rockford Files theme goes. I remember it being, wasn't that something like that? Yeah. So I'm going to refrain from that right now. But you know, I've been thinking about doing a live stream, actually doing a little concert live stream, live here in the living room, on acoustic guitar. Okay, unconfirmed additional Israeli retaliatory airstrikes against positions in Syria. Again, Anna Ehrenheim, military correspondent from the Jerusalem Post, has tweeted this. Unconfirmed additional Israeli retaliatory airstrikes that were just warned against a few minutes ago may have taken place against positions in Syria. Again, you got to think this is only going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And how soon till the bigger players start getting involved in this? And when I say bigger players, I say Russia and the United States, for example, NATO. It is very scary indeed, because again, it's prophecy. There's a number of different prophecies that could be related to this. Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1, Psalm 83, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, which prophesies the Gog-Magog war, which different theologians believe when that might happen. That could be a pre-Great Tribulation event. Others insist that it's going to take place during the Great Tribulation, because that's Gog-Magog is mentioned twice. It's mentioned in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, but I believe it's also mentioned in Revelation too. So it almost looks like there could be, and it's possible that there could be two Gog-Magog events. One perhaps before the Great Tribulation. It could be the one that actually inspires the Antichrist to come up with his peace treaty, or it could be I'm going to stop right now because we've got somebody here. Good night from Tel Aviv. Sirens sound only in the north of Israel near Syria border. 20 rockets and no casualties. That's from Lior. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Welcome aboard. Yeah, that was the north of Israel. Again, this seems to be where most of this tension is taking place. The lamestream media, all gone, probably isn't going to report this until it's all over. And they'll have a very anti-Israel slant, of course. They'll have a pro-Syria slant, most likely. They aren't interested in this stuff. They are interested in the salacious details of Stormy Daniels, Robert Cohen, or Michael Cohen, Robert Mueller, and that entire, I'm just going to call it a freak show. That's exactly what it is. That's all they're interested in. Good that InfoWars is covering it. That's good. That's good that I'm sure others are. There are others out there that are woke enough to know that this is very important. Absolutely. And I'm checking. Okay. Again, I'm seeing it now popping up in a couple of, more than a couple places. Again, Israel's army says Iranian forces in Syria fired about 20 projectiles at Israeli positions. Some were intercepted. And again, we have seen unconfirmed reporting that Israel is retaliating again against positions in Syria, probably where these 20 projectiles were fired from. That's probably where they are focusing their retaliation right now. If you're in here, folks, pop in the chat, say hi, give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please check out the link to my latest fiction book, Light, a Wayfarer Story. Now Milan says the Syrian army fired back, not the Iranians. I've been looking at a report that Quds forces fired 20 projectiles toward Israel. Why doesn't the mainstream media cover a war story? Because the mainstream media, again, as we've been saying, all they care about is Stormy Daniels, Robert Mueller, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, who took a golden shower in Russia, the Russians influencing the elections. You know, the Russians are everywhere. They're in your computer. They're right behind me. They're in my guitar amplifier. They're in my bathroom. Everywhere you look, there's Russians. There's Russians around every corner influencing everything that happens. That's the narrative that they want you to believe. They are the misdirection machine. That's what I call the mainstream media. They are the misdirection machine. They're going to misdirect you intentionally away from things that are important to a narrative they want you to believe. I'll even call it mind control. That's the mainstream media. It's the mind stream or the mind screw media. That's what we'll call them. Okay, the mind screw media. That's what we'll call the mainstream media. The Russians are in old school warriors blender. Well, turn that blender on, okay? Turn that blender on, man, and chop those Russians up. Chop up them Russians in your blender. Can you see a commercial, folks? Hi, do you have Russians in your blender? Get new blue blend off. Kills those Russians dead. I mean, you could see that that would happen. But that's what the mainstream media, folks, that's what they want you to believe. And I know that most, if not all of you in here know this. I'm telling you something that you already know. They aren't going to cover anything that isn't, if it can make the current presidential administration look bad, they will cover it. If it's important, if it's a matter of life or death, they'll cover it once the deaths start. You know, if it bleeds, it leads. I mean, they are covering, I believe, Kilauea some, because again, that's a potentially dangerous situation in an American state, a U.S. state. But they're crap. Turn them off. Turn them off. But the problem is, and this is where they have everything under control. The majority of the people in the world, especially so in the United States, the mainstream media, if they want information, that is where they go. That is where they go. They go to CNN, they go to Fox, they go to MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, I mean, I know my alphabet as far as P. What comes after P, I don't know. I know it through P. What is the next letter after P? Does anybody remember? Clinton News Network, yes. But now John welcome aboard, John. Ricky Costa, welcome aboard, by the way. Israel's about to hit Iran now. Is this something that you picked up? Because I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. Now, how would they do it again? Getting the bombers to Iran, they'd have to pass through Saudi airspace, I do believe. But I think they may have worked some of this out already if they choose to go that way. We'll have to see. But they also, again, we don't know exactly what Israel has as far as nuclear arms and how far they can go. We know they have them. They are a nuclear state. Yes, they are. And I believe Iran is also a nuclear state. This is a potentially frightening, not potentially, it is frightening. And Obama is crying in a corner because Trump threw away his legacy. Barf 245 said, Obama, again, deep into the deep state. Okay, he is one of the, I believe he's still working actively behind the scenes. He is still manipulating and controlling. I think he's got one of his hands on one of the puppet strings. Absolutely. Again, this whole thing, Obama came out of nowhere. You may remember. He came virtually out of nowhere. He exploded on the scene. And that's what the Antichrist will do. He's not the Antichrist, but that's what the Antichrist will do. Viva Cecilia 68. What we're talking about right now is a military exchange between Israel and Syria. We could have Iranian Quds forces involved in this, Syrian forces, armaments being fired from Israel into Syria, Syria firing back. What I'm trying to determine right now is who fired first. It looks like it may have been Israel targeting some Iranian assets, most likely in Syria. But I've seen reported in a number of places that Iranian Revolutionary Guards, Quds forces, fired 20 projectiles at Israel. That's not just going to pass by without a response. And Israel may be responding now. Let me check again. As a matter of fact, something new might have popped up here. All right. Okay, 10 plus sounds of explosions heard from the outskirts of Damascus, Syria in the last 10 minutes. It is unclear if the sounds are from air defense systems being activated and/or Israeli strikes. So there's Damascus again. Damascus. Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1 that we are watching for. 10 plus sounds of explosions heard from the outskirts of Damascus, Syria in the last 10 minutes. It is unclear if the sounds are from air defense systems being activated and/or Israeli strikes, and that's from Israel breaking on Twitter. Let's see if Anna Ehrenheim has anything else going on here. She's been covering this. She is a military correspondent with the Jerusalem Post. And nothing new from her, but now we have these sounds in the outskirts of Damascus being reported. Again, there's always the possibility of the ruinous heap ceasing to be a city. Would that happen because of what we're seeing right now? That's what we're going to do, and we're going to try to track that down. Okay. Let's see here. What else can we do here? Bear with me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me, please. Bear with me, please. There we go. All right. Had to handle somebody there. Now, okay. The latest, Israel's military says, okay, Iranian forces based in neighboring Syria fired about 20 projectiles. 20 projectiles fired in, 10 plus explosions now being heard near Damascus. So it sounds like we have a rather noteworthy back and forth taking place right now. It is something that we're going to be watching here for a little while. Hey, Junkyard Jedi, welcome aboard. Nicole, welcome aboard. Simon, welcome aboard. Hi, everybody. Good to have you in here again. Just give me a moment. I have to do this. The super chat's down there if you want to buy me a slice of cheesecake. Okay, that's what I'm working for today. Cheesecake. Need a cheesecake. And also there is the link to Light, a Wayfarer story down there. Again, if you're watching events right now, especially where America is concerned, talking about deception, talking about mainstream media deception, that is some fiction for you folks. Certainly an end times Christian book that's very, very edgy. Okay, very, very edgy. Some of my characters say naughty words. That's because real people say naughty words. It just happens. But again, what may be a bit unprecedented, Simon, is the fact that it's looking like it's being concerned. Cyber cheesecake, thank you, old school warrior. With is that a cherry on top of that? The fact that the Quds forces from Iran have fired 20 projectiles at Israel. This may be the noteworthy thing right now. This may be a first. And yes, welcome aboard, Brian Tackage. Did I pronounce your name correctly, sir? CNN still talking of Stormy Daniels while war is breaking out in the Middle East. This could be the spark. This could be it, folks. I mean, again, we've said this before. This is going to be it. This is going to be it. And then a day later, we're talking about Stormy Daniels, Robert Mueller, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, lawyers and lawyers and lawyers, and Russians hiding in the blender and in the toilet. And there's a Russian behind every corner. There's a Russian in every computer. We got a Russian everywhere. Russian in my guitar, Russian on my chair. I mean, they're just all over the place. That's the mainstream media. Maybe this time, the mainstream media is going to have to get off its asses and cover something important. Something that doesn't fit the narrative, something they don't understand. They don't understand this stuff, okay? They don't understand the possibility of biblical prophecy being fulfilled. They don't understand Gog Magog, Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. They don't understand Psalm 83. They don't understand the implications of what could be taking place in the Middle East right now. They don't give it. They don't give a rat's ass about any of it. They don't care. They don't care. They're ignorant stuffed suits. Whether it be Wolf Blitzkrieg or whoever it might be, and all the info babes with their boobies popping out of their shirts, they don't care about what's going on over there, and that's the important stuff. That's the important stuff. It will have an effect here in America. It will have an effect on the streets here in America. Believe me. I mean, I'm just a dummy that makes videos on YouTube. But I'll say one thing. I'm woke. My eyes are open. I'm watching. So there we have that. What's taking place where you have Israel concerned, God's prophetic timepiece, the ripple effects of that will be around the world. And it's something it's something that we can't maybe fathom this, because unfortunately, it may be the case. We're trying to pinpoint that right now. The average American, unfortunately, many because they're so busy, they're working, they're raising families, they don't have time to truly delve into this stuff. Plus, there's too many good shows on television to watch. Okay, so, and I'm being a bit sarcastic, but the mainstream media is what the average American turns to for his or her information. So they're getting the crap. associated with the Trump administration and all the legal problems. And he's going to be arrested. He is going to be this. He's going to be impeached. And Hillary's got a back brace on. No, Hillary doesn't have a back brace on. Hillary fell over. Hillary farted. Hillary sneezed. I mean, it's just seriously, it's madness. It is madness. I are a good speller. It's madness. All right, folks. Let me make the rounds here again, okay? I'm going off on a tangent. I'm a lot of fun when I go off on a tangent, but I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be a semi-responsible journalist here. I'm just looking for any additional information that I can relay to you as to what is going on in this area that we are discussing right now. Again, there's videos popping up of things flying through the air, and but again, it's more and more. It looks like Iran's Quds forces in Syria launched missiles toward Israel. Now, again, it appeared initially, at least, that Israel began this by targeting Iran's forces in Syria a short time ago. So we're getting response, counter response. We're getting basically what we have going on right now is a back and forth. And according to what Israel Breaking News says here, events as of 1 minute ago are still ongoing. So the situation is still ongoing. There is still this back and forth between Israel and elements in Syria being part of at least the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, Quds forces. This, in my view, is a serious escalation, How this all washes out, what it looks like 24 hours from now remains to be seen. I can't say. But we're also getting reports of 10+ sounds of explosions heard from the outskirts of Damascus, Syria in the last 10 minutes. So that's been about 20 minutes now because that first popped up, 12 minutes ago. It is unclear if the sounds are from air defense systems being activated and or Israeli airstrikes. Or Israeli strikes. This is what we're still trying to pinpoint. Again, I am so anxious to know exactly what is taking place here. But I can tell you this, there is some manner of poop hitting the fan over there right now. And this is something that we're going to watch for a while. Syria isn't a civil war. How can they afford to attack anyone? That is a mighty good question. It's because they have Iran helping them. And they have probably Russia helping them as well. It's not like they're doing it on their own. That's my take on it anyway. And Israel is always pointed to as the bad guy, but Israel is always in defense mode. They're always defending themselves. How many times has Iran said it's going to destroy Israel? How many times? How many times has Iran said it is going to destroy Israel, that it's going to wipe it off the face of the map, the face of the earth? How many times? How many times over the last decade have we heard that? Billy Night Train, you sound like Paul Begley. If you see someone getting ready to shoot you, you shoot first. Absolutely. Unconfirmed Israeli tank targeted near Lebanon. Again, folks, this is something that there's going to be a certain degree of unconfirmed, maybe a bit of hearsay as these things first pop up. But if one of their tanks was targeted again, we're going to see that this might be an all-nighter, folks. I don't know. But from what I'm looking at here, this looks like a significant event. Again, they all look that way at first. Billy, are you a fan of his? I like to watch Paul every once in a while. He is an excitable guy. Get yourselves a cup of coffee. There's something biblical going on with the signs. The guy is. I really enjoy him, truly. That's not only Iran wants to wipe out those who are occupying Arab lands. Imagine someone takes 75% of your home by force, claiming it's theirs. Would you be fine with it? Who are you speaking of? Let us know who you're speaking of. All right, I'm going to again check the It's okay. Old school warrior. That's a good point. It doesn't mean Israel is God's chosen land. Okay, it is His prophetic timepiece. It does not mean that every Israeli is therefore a stellar individual. It does not mean that the Israeli government is always good. It does not mean that just because that is His chosen land, and that is through the covenant with Abraham, those are His people. It does not mean, therefore, that they are shiny and can do no wrong. No, no, no. Trust me. I would never think that at all. All right. So that it belongs to His people. Absolutely, absolutely. It does not mean that just like it doesn't mean that every American is a good person. Every American, therefore, is somehow vaunted or elevated over people from another part of the world strictly by the birthright of being an American. Absolutely not. Not at all. It's again, it is His chosen people. It is His chosen land. It does not mean that therefore they are all gold in each and every one. No way. No way. I can confirm that. Okay, so right now we're waiting for more information to pop up, whether we had a unconfirmed Israel is preparing massive airstrikes on SAA positions. Probably so. Probably so. But again, we'll wait. We will wait. And John says this will be Israel's largest response. It may very well be. It may very well be their largest response. And I'm sure they have Trump's blessings. There's no doubt in my mind that they do. Okay. Now, so we have that. And again, we can shift gears for a moment and talk about the Kilauea volcano. Again, we're concerned now that thing is going to be firing rocks into the air that can travel for dozens of miles. There's still gas. There's still volcano. There's more fissures breaking open. The Kilauea volcano is not a situation that is over. I'm concerned that may get even worse there too. And what about the rest of the ring of fire toward California, for example? Is this a precursor of larger things to come? We can talk about that for a minute while I'm trying to gather information here. What about Kim Jong-un? Kim Jong-un releasing the 3 prisoners today. Again, that just seems so orchestrated to me. I don't know what the powers that shouldn't be are attempting to manipulate by doing that, but that just seems so orchestrated. Why the sudden change of heart with that man? What has caused this man, who either is crazy as a fox or sly as a fox, all of a sudden he wants to play nice? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. There's something not right there. There's absolutely something not right. And while it's good that those 3 men were set free, that's wonderful news for them and their families, it does not mean that there isn't something more nefarious behind this. And I hate to say that. Okay, so again, seeing popping up all over here, Times of Israel, Israel breaking news, Anna Ehrenheim, Associated Press, all reporting that, again, Iranian forces fire 20 rockets at Israel. Iron Dome intercepts some. And now, of course, there's been evidently armaments fired by the Syrians. Israel, of course, has been firing in. Israel may have begun this. I think, if I understand correctly, when I first jumped into this, Israel may again have been targeting Iranian assets inside of Syria, which may have precipitated this. But this certainly does seem like an escalation over what we have seen lately. And I'm just okay, there might be something new right here. Let's see. Okay, now local authorities in Israel's Golan Heights say residents can come out of their shelters, but to remain nearby. So does this mean that there's some sort of lessening now of this exchange? Again, Anna Ehrenheim, who is a military correspondent at the Jerusalem Post, is reporting that local authorities in Israel's Golan Heights say residents can come out of their shelters, but remain nearby. So again, is there some manner of lightening up, lessening? Maybe there's a break in the action that's allowing the forces to say, "Come on up out of your come up out of your bomb shelters, get a breath of fresh air, but but be ready to jump back in there if you have to. So that's where that stands right now. Somehow you don't suspect this is just going to be all over within the next hour, and everyone just goes back home and retools and gets ready for the next volley. Somehow I think this may be more of a sustained event, which again possibly could drag in the bigger players. And this is what I'm trying to track down right now. But the fact that, again, local authorities in Israel's Golan Heights say residents can come out of their shelters but remain nearby. Certainly is sounds like a break in the action, at least temporarily. Folks, again, I want to let you know that there is the super chat there. If you want to buy me a slice of cheesecake, I'd be more than happy to accept that. There is the link to my latest fiction book, Light, a Wayfarer Story, that's only been out for a couple of weeks. Folks, if you're watching the world, if you're woke, if you're watching the U.S. especially, going now and going into the future, this is a book for you. I think you will really like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please give this video a thumb up. Share it around. I'm going to stay with this a little while longer. See what takes place here. Again, this event seems to be fairly fluid, but after this last report that local authorities are telling Israelis in the Golan Heights, excuse me, that they come out of their shelters, but to remain nearby, there may be a break in the action right now. Are the sides just all retooling? Are they loading up for the next volley? That's what we are waiting to find out right now. You know that this is not over. It may be over for a few minutes or for a short while, but you know this is not over. And again, the Kilauea volcano is not over either. And that sounds like things are getting worse there. Kim Jong-un releasing 3 American citizens today. Again, what is behind that? What has prompted that? Is he afraid? Somehow I don't think so. Again, it's all part of what we are trying to sort out here. Hypersonic monkey brains. That is a Telecaster. Yes, it is. It is my Tele. She's a nice instrument. Completely stock Fender. Everything on it is Fender. I haven't replaced the thing on it. And it sounds great and it plays very nicely. I really like it. All right, so welcome aboard, everybody who's in here right now. Thanks for the comments. If you haven't, there's a hole that's tuning fairly well. It does need a new set of strings, and you know what? I've got to have. And this is a common problem with Telecasters. Sometimes you get a bit of a bubble in the pick guard back by the tailpiece. I've got to have that re-glued, but I mean it's still playable. It's just that you got to play more toward the front position now. But stays in tune pretty well. If it's subjected to sudden temperature changes, of course, it goes out of tune quickly. But yeah, it is a nice guitar. I got to get a hold of an Epiphone Casino. I want an Epiphone Casino. That would take a lot of super chat money to get that, though. Right now, I'm just working for a piece of cheesecake. Anything above that would be a blessing. All right, let's see if we can catch up on anything new here as far as what's going on over there in Israel, Syria. Golan Heights. Again, there seems to be potentially a quieting of events right now as residents are being told that they can come up out of the bomb shelters, but stay nearby, obviously, in case they have to run back on very short notice. And Shana, that's a very good point. This isn't about Trump or America. This is about God. This is about God. This is potentially prophetic stuff that we're seeing here. The Iranian regime is definitely, I believe, a threat to the whole world. I am not an expert on the matter, but I believe they have had nuclear weapons for quite some time. As to how many and what capability, I don't know. That I can't claim to know, but I have long suspected that they've had a nuclear capability of some manner. And the fact that they haven't used it yet whether it's something as simple as suitcase nukes or something more involved that could be fired on the tip of a missile. It is a blessing that they have not done anything with it up to this point. So that's where we stand right now. Again, bear with me. Let's see if there's anything. If Anna's got anything new here, no. Let's see about over here. Israel breaking news. No, it almost seems like, at least for the moment, there has been some quieting of the events. Old school warrior, this is all about waking people up and bringing them to God. Absolutely. He does give us wake-up calls. And sometimes I think he's got to clang that alarm bell a little bit more loudly. He's trying to get our attention. The Lord is trying to get our attention, more so those who don't believe. He's trying to get their attention, and he's got multitudes of ways he can do this, more than we can fathom. It's something that we're going to see more and more of. We are blessed to be alive in this time, to see the things that we are seeing. They're not necessarily good things, but we are blessed to be alive at this time to see these things. Let's again check things out now. Hypersonic Monkey Brains, again, welcome aboard. I can see some of you here. Shayna, Leah Wages, welcome aboard. Viva Cecilia 68, welcome aboard. Gosh, my own Twitter is busy tonight. I must have gotten tagged into something. Let's see here. Again, there is, ever since that tweet about local authorities in Israel's Golan Heights saying residents can come out of their shelters but to remain nearby, nothing else new here, but bear with me. I mean, there's more places to look because this is going to be fluid. You can just keep having this back and forth for so long before there's going to be another event. All right, let's see what we got right here. Cross-border strikes, okay. Again, one report, this is what we already know. Syrian air defenses have been deployed to thwart an attack by the Israeli rockets. Syria State Sana News Agency, SANA, has reported the bombing is reportedly being carried out by Israeli warplanes from Lebanese airspace. Again, this sounds like what happened last time, too. We've also had the reports of Iranian Revolutionary Guards, Quds forces, firing 20 projectiles toward Syria. Iron Dome took some of them down. The others evidently landed in places where they did no harm. And so we are keeping track of a number of different things over there. Now, Hypersonic Monkey Brains reports of a huge explosion in Golan Heights. You know, that right there, I'm going to try. I've been, again, looking at I've got a bunch of sources open that could have happened. That would certainly send everybody scurrying back to the bomb shelters, I would imagine, if that is taking place. And let's see. Anna, what do you have here? Surely you have something new. Don't call me Shirley. Let's see this right here. Okay. That's still the same. I would not, while I can't see that right now, I would not be surprised if there was a large explosion there. Again, I think we're going to be looking at a number of large explosions as the minutes pass by here. Again, I think there may have been a lull. There's probably going to be some reloading and some retooling, and there may be another round of this, folks. And you got to keep in mind that every time there's another round, the chance of something dreadful happening will increase. Let's see here what the Times of Israel says. Nothing that we don't already know. But we've had those explosions near Damascus as well. Again, Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. How close are we getting to that? All right, so we have that right Let's Let's see if we can catch up on this here. Okay, California solar panels. Again, interesting, but somehow I think that that doesn't rate with what's going on over in the Middle East right now. Um, all right, all right, all right, all right. I would like to find some sort of corroboration, I should say, corroboration, as to what took place in the Golan Heights as far as that possible explosion in the Golan Heights. I'm sure that it's likely taking place. That certainly sounds more than believable. Folks, again, if you're out there, pop in the chat, say hi, give this a thumbs up. Please share it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. We'll run with this a little while longer, see if anything happens that is noteworthy. Again, check out the link below to my latest fiction book, Light, a Wayfarer Story. If you're following world events, especially where America is concerned, and other things too, also biblical prophecy, there's some interesting things that take place in that piece of fiction, folks. I think you'd really like them, and I'm not sure how fictional it really is. That's all I'm going to say. Check that out in Kindle and paperback. All right, there seems to be a bit of a holding pattern right now. It seems like there isn't a ton of new developments on this thing. We're going to try to keep track of this for a little bit more. Okay, and we have that. Okay, once in a while you've got to do a little house cleaning here. Right now I don't have a wrench. I am the wrench. I am the wrench, and the wrench I am. I'm running wrench free, except for my own wrench, and I've done a little house cleaning here already. We're getting some nasty stuff being posted in there, and I don't think so much that it's trolls or bots, but just troublemakers. But we're taking care of that. I don't mind discourse. You can disagree. That's absolutely fine. You can disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. I mean, that's not what's gonna get you kicked out of here. It's gonna be other things that involve F-bombs, especially pointed toward particular nations and particular people. Those things are going to get you tossed out of here, and that is something I'm keeping an eye on right here too. Okay, the hypersonic monkey brains. This is secondhand info, but CBS is reporting that the Typhoon fighters taking off now, and they cut to a live feed of them. CBS reported this. Doesn't seem like CBS for that. How can CBS report that when Stormy Daniels is still in the news? I mean, CBS would be more concerned about that, right? I find it absolutely fascinating. I hope they are reporting that. Don't get me wrong. I hope that they are reporting something like that, other than what sort of salacious activities we can report involving American presidential administrations and the like. Let's see here. All right. You know, the funny thing is, CBS News is carrying some information on this, and I'm glad. I'm glad they are. I don't see anything about the Typhoon fighters. Maybe I'm missing that, but I'm glad that CBS is reporting on this. Absolutely. Good, because it's certainly it is an important thing that needs to be reported on. And all right, we got that. That's old news now. That's old news. You know, the old phone buzzes, and I got to check and see what's on it. Nothing that we didn't already know. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'm trying to, again, there's one source right here that seems to be coming in with the fastest information, and that is Anna Arenheim, who is a Jerusalem Post security consultant and a military correspondent. And she has not posted anything since the fact that that residents in the Golan Heights could come up out of their shelters but remain nearby. So that's the last thing that we've seen on that. And we're going to maybe do a little more house cleaning here, just because I'm a patient man, but sometimes I lose my patience with people, especially people that are trying to instigate problems. I have better things to do than try to troll. Or again, you can disagree. That's fine. Disagreement is fine. Hearty discourse is great. But when you're in here trying to just preach untruths and be nasty about the way you do it, I don't want you in here. And I'll wrench you out, okay? I'm not afraid. See my wrench? Look at that. It's my Invisa wrench. That's a new product called the Invisa wrench, and I have one. Okay. Again, folks, if you're out there, do pop in the chat, say hi, give this a thumbs up, share it if you would, please. Check out my link to my new book. You got to read that. There is the super chat. I'm working for some cheesecake here, okay? All I want is some cheesecake. I'm not going to ask you folks to buy me an Epiphone Casino guitar, okay? I'll have to save up for that. But I'm working on cheesecake right now. If you want to buy me a cheesecake, hit the super chat and help to buy me cheesecake. I would really be happy about some cheesecake. I just would like that. All right, so of course those detainees have been freed from North Korea. We can talk about that again. While it's good news, I'm very happy for those fellas. I'm happy for their families. I'm suspicious as to what would prompt Kim Jong-un to do that. We have Kilauea volcano, more fissures opening. We have the volcanic fog, the VOG. We have the steam. We have the concern that these newer eruptions are going to shoot rocks for miles. Can you imagine rocks flying out of this thing, out of fissures in the ground or out of the volcano itself, and traveling dozens of miles? Again, think of the destruction. That'd be almost like firing I don't know, missiles, small missiles, when you're firing rocks dozens of miles. We've got that going on right now. But what we're looking at here in Israel seems to be the story of the moment right now. And again, hypersonic monkey brains, you're putting up some good stuff. I appreciate you sharing this. Syrian Arab Army and Iran forces continue to launch missiles into the Golan Heights. And now Israel is telling residents to go back into shelters and stay there. I'm surprised they didn't do that already. Again, I'm looking at 5 different resources right now. And just trying to get the most up-to-date information on this. Again, it seems like the most ferocious parts of these events have stopped for the time being, and I'm saying for the time being. But you have to think that there's going to be some reinvigoration of this. This is not over. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination. We have to keep Fox News reporting about B-1 bombers involved in bombing Syria. Again, the powers that shouldn't be have decided that there's going to be major war, and there's going to be this war that's going to involve a multitude of nations. You could call it World War III. You could call it the potential fulfillment of different biblical prophecies. But it seems like it's on now. It seems like it's on now, and again, we've had these little skirmishes now. We've had these back and forths between Israel and Syria. Israel targeting Iranian assets in Syria, and it's lasted a while, and then it stopped for a few days, and then it starts up again. But it seems like today we've seen some manner of major escalation when you've had the Revolutionary Guard, Quds forces firing 20 projectiles out of Syria at Israel. You know that that this is definitely a step up in events, and the follow through on this is going to be interesting to watch, folks. And again, right now it appears that things, while there's different reports popping up, all of which I'm trying to confirm right now. I can't confirm anything new other than what I have reported to you already, and knowing that at some point This is going to reignite, I'm sure. I'm going to jump to yet another source. I've got so many tabs open here right now that I probably need a tab assistant to keep track of my tabs here. Let's see. Anything new over here? I'm looking at yet another resource. And okay, around the Syria state media has reported that Israel shelled the city of Bath in the northern Quneitra governorate. Okay, so that's Syrian state media through RT is reporting that Israel shelled the city of Bath in the northern Quneitra governorate. So, okay, we have the city of Bath, evidently shelled by Syria. Okay. Now there's also being reported strike. The reported strike by Israeli jets is seen as a continued retaliation to what Israel claims were some 20 rockets launched by Iran's Quds Force from Syrian territory into the Israeli-occupied part of the Golan Heights earlier in the night. The IDF said its Iron Dome system intercepted some of the projectiles, and reported attack resulted in no injuries. So again, we're trying to pinpoint who actually started this. My initial reporting said that Israel was hitting some Iranian assets in Syria, but maybe it was the other way around. Maybe this began on the other side. That is something I'm trying to pinpoint for sure. We may not know tonight exactly how this all began. The important thing is what's going to be happening in the next 5 minutes. This is what we have to be keeping track of. This is not over, folks. What we're seeing right now is potentially prophetic, likely prophetic. This will have an influence on a number of things, folks. This is more important than Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen and blah 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 blah. This is more important than you can pick any number of these stories. The New York State Attorney General having to step down because he was a Me Tooer, and yet he was an abusive, sadistic masochist. More important than that, that's important. That's all important, but we may be looking at the possibility now of a significant military escalation in the Middle East that could involve. It may drag in the big players. It may drag in the big dogs like Russia, like the United States of America. We may be looking at the possibility of, as Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1, Damascus becoming a ruinous heap. We may see that. We may see me getting a drink of water. Psalm 83, the battle between Israel and the neighbors. We're kind of looking at that right now, maybe. Gog Magog, as prophesied in Ezekiel chapter 38, 39, where Russia, Iran, Syria, and a host of Middle Eastern nations move in on Israel. But the hand of God with fire and brimstone knocks those armaments out of the air, and the soldiers, Scripture says in Ezekiel, that the birds will feed on the carrion of those soldiers for 7 years. 7 years. So that's a lot of carrion. You'd have to think if the birds are going to be able to feed on it for 7 years. All right, so welcome aboard, everybody. If you're out there, pop in the chat, say hi. Give this a thumbs up. Please share it. I'm going to run a little while longer here. I'm trying to get some new information. It seems like everything has gone quiet here, and I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sources right now. It seems like everything has gone quiet. Okay, we're going to check something else here now. We may have some more information, or is it the same information? See, a lot of this information is being reported on a number of sources. Okay. All right. Waiting for this to refresh. Okay, the 20 rockets. The 20 rockets seems to be the prevailing story right now. Now, we have some tweeting here. Is another war starting? Iran just fired rockets into Israel's Golan Heights province. if that's an act of war. Okay, again, antiwar.com is saying Iran has fired 20 rockets at Israeli military outposts in Golan. Israel attacks Syria again. So again, this is stuff that we already know. Let's see. Israel. This is again a tweet by Joe Citizen. But again, worth mentioning. Again, one of the neat things about Twitter, I'm looking at Twitter right now, is that you have real people tweeting things as they see them or as they gather them, and then you've got to pause and consider for a moment: is it real? Is it accurate? Is it hyperbole? Is it exaggeration? Now, this one individual, Israel is bombing Iranian military assets in Syria, and now apparently actively engaging the Syrian army. He says it's kind of a feces show. Yeah, it is. Iranian forces in Syria reportedly fire rockets at Israel. So it seems to be the same repetitive sort of reporting here, with nothing new other than what I've been telling you and what we've been gathering independently out there amongst us. Now, I'm trying to there's just a variety of news sources being quoted here and on Twitter, but yet we're getting all the same information for the most part. Syria has fired missiles. The Iranian Quds forces have fired missiles. Israel has fired missiles. So far, there's no reports of any casualties. Yet we have three parties right now, two on one side and one on the other, firing missiles. The Iranians fired 20 at Israel, 20 missiles, some of which were taken down by the Iron Dome. So it sounds like we definitely have, if this is not the start of a war, I don't know what it would take. It certainly, these things often seem to settle down. Now, sounds of fire from Syria. So Israel is still, as of Israel breaking news, Israel still targeting sites in Syria. Okay, they're targeting different sites in Syria now, following the Iranian rocket barrage. So this is still going on. This is still an event that's taking place. It's just that right now we don't have anything. We will have to keep watching this, folks. Again, pop in the chat. Let me know you're out there. I've lost some of you. That's going to happen when you run a long time. Trying to gather new information. I know that right now the reporting is slowed. I'm not coming up with a whole heck of a lot that is anything new, other than Israel is still, as of this moment, it appears Israel is still targeting sites in Syria, multiple sites. So we still have a hot event here taking place as of this moment. Trying to gather, I've got 7 different sources open right now, trying to gather the latest information for you as I can, and understanding that reporting may slow. It may slow until the next significant event takes place. Let's see what I have here, folks. Nothing new there. Nothing new, nothing new. Nothing new at all here. Okay, still the same stuff. Still the same stuff, folks. So I wish I had something new to report to you on this. I know that that there will be other events. This may just be a temporary calm down. That's Shanna Lee Wages. That is from the book of Genesis. God says, "Whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whoever curses Israel will be cursed." That is right out of Genesis. That is one of the earliest passages of Scripture. Let's see. That's interesting, hypersonic. Let's see here if we can come up with that. That's one more thing I haven't looked at. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got on that. Thanks for that tip. Of all the places I've been looking, and I've been looking a lot of places. Okay. Now, per Strategic Sentinel, again, it is a verified Twitter account that does provide some good information. As of 8 minutes ago, several counterattacks in Israeli territory and forces in the Golan have occurred by what is believed to be primarily SAA forces, that's Syrian, although some small attacks may have been carried out by Hezbollah and other factions. Events are still quite fluid. So you may have a number of fighting forces involved in this right now. An unprecedented amount of military activity continues along the northern border of Israel and into Syria. A large IDF operation appears to be underway, targeting several different factions near Damascus and southern Syria. IDF is utilizing air and ground assets. Again, it sounds like we have it sounds like we have basically the makings of the start of a war right here. We have a number of different fighting forces going at it right now. Again, I'm watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now 7 different sources. So between all 7 of these things that I am looking at right now, we're going to find the latest information one way or another. And I'm already starting to rate these things by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm on one of my top ones right now because she was again, maybe she's on her lunch break. I don't know, but this is a situation, folks, that is not just going to quiet down and go quietly into the night until next time. I think, okay, here's something new. As of 55 seconds ago. At this time, it appears attacks on both sides have been confined to tank, howitzer, MLRS, mortars, air-based, and otherwise generally immobile platforms. No ground advances are thought to be occurring. Okay, good. If we start to see ground advances here, and this again, that's from Strat Sentinel. If we start to see ground advances taking place, you know that we've got a hot war underway. So far, according to that post, we have no ground advances taking place. So thus far, you could say that is a good sign that we have that. Again, folks, we're talking about, if you're new in here, if you've just popped in, we're talking about what is going on in Syria, involving forces from Israel, Syria, Iran, potentially Hezbollah. You've got the SAA involved in this. We've had exchanges of missiles, howitzer fire, tank fire. Again, probably starting with Israel targeting Iranian assets, which are a threat, a major threat to Israel, targeting those forces inside of Syria. And now you've got we've had the Iranian Quds forces, the Revolutionary Guard, have fired 20 projectiles at Israel. The Iron Dome has taken down some of them. Interestingly enough, and maybe good news, is that we don't have any casualties reported. Now, I find that very good. All right. Going to try to follow up on something else here. Bear with me, folks. How many more? Okay, I'm going to get rid of that right there, and we're going to start swapping out different sources here. Okay, we're going to get rid of that because that doesn't seem to have anything new, and we're going to open up this right here, and we're going to pop in right over here. I'm trying to bring you the most up-to-date information that I can. I've got enough sources open here right now to make my eyes cross, but they won't. We're going to see what this has got for us right here. This is a source that I have looked at before. No, it's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to do. Nope. Bear with me. Sometimes my tabs start acting stupid. Windows 10 is fighting me. Windows 10 doesn't want me doing this. Windows 10 is highly intrusive. And let's see here. Let's see what we can come up with. Bear with me. Come on now. You can do it for me. Open up. People are waiting to know what is going on here. Alrighty. I caught some fat fish today, folks. Just to change the subject for a second, I caught some fat fish. I caught some chain pickerel that were just big around. As I was targeting bowfin today, what some people call dogfish, nasty fighting fish. Didn't get any, but boy, the pickerel were hungry and they were striking my white spinner bait with twister tails, just going nuts on it. We even tried I tried the power bait perch. They were going nuts on that too. We had a good time. I lost more than I caught. Okay. Unconfirmed sirens can be heard in Israeli Haifa city. Yes. Okay. I'm looking at that right now too. That was as of 12 minutes ago per Nadal Ghazawi on Twitter. Again, keeping track. He's another one that's keeping track of this thing. I think I'm going to swap out this source right here. Okay. I think what I'm looking at, I'm narrowing down what is providing me the most active information. And that's what I'm trying to stay on top of right now. The most active updating information. Some sources are not updating fast. Others seem to be, especially Twitter sources. Again, Twitter is real people putting things up. While Twitter does not like us reporting the news, Twitter would rather have us be talking about the same things that the mainstream media talks about. But we continue to use this platform, just like we continue to use YouTube. YouTube doesn't like this type of thing either, but we continue to use it because it's such a huge platform. All right, let's see what we have happening over here. All right, so again, Strat Sentinel says at this time it appears attacks on both sides have been confirmed to tank, howitzer, MLRS mortars, that's MLRS mortars, air-based, and otherwise generally immobile platforms. So we have not seen any ground advances. We start seeing ground advances, you can be fairly certain we got us a hot war underway, and we don't want that. Okay, we want to see biblical prophecy fulfilled. It just lends to the return of the Lord, and that's what we want. But then again, we're seeing some very frightening things. But you know what I'll say, folks? And if you are subscribed to me, if you're not subscribed to me, please. I put up news videos every day. Let's do not be given over to the spirit of fear, but instead of the power of love and of a sound mind that comes through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Let's remember that, folks. Let's remember that. That is truly the most encouraging news that we can cling to right now when we have all of this stuff going on. Trying to track down something else for you here, folks. Again, I'm closing some tabs and opening new tabs because I don't have enough tabs to track all this stuff. I am tab crazy right now. Tab crazy, okay? I mean, I wish I had about 40 tabs I could open up, but that's just not possible as much as I would like to. Okay. Hold on now. Hold me close. Yeah, there's some 80s song that went like that, wasn't there? Whoa, hold me now. Yeah, I don't remember the band. I was never really much into most 80s music. We're trying to find something else here. Let's see what this is. Let's see what we've got going on here. Come on now. Come on. Load for me. Don't be bashful. That stupid thing. My gosh. This. Open up for me. All right. So, again, if you're out there and pop in the chat, say hi, give this video a thumbs up. Please check out the links to my fiction book, Light a Wayfarer Story. That is my latest fiction book. Part of the Wayfarer series. Okay. So we got that open now. Another thing we can keep track of for you folks. Again, there's those of you in the chat are putting up so many things, and I greatly appreciate it. We have a number of different people reporting a number of different things, and if these things are all true, we are going to be looking at a major feces show here. If we're not looking at one already. And I am trying to just, again, you've got you've got regular citizen journalists tweeting things, and a lot of your best information is coming because these are people that are down there that are watching, that maybe are living close to it or are living through it. They're not some large media company that's got okay. This is from Strat Sentinel. As of 18 seconds ago, Israel is now targeting the Quneitra with artillery fire. Excuse me. Got tongue-tied there. Israel is now targeting Quneitra with artillery fire. Some reports also suggest cruise missile strikes in that area. Okay, now if we're bringing cruise missiles into this, well, where were they fired from? Where did those cruise missiles, where those Israeli cruise missiles come from? We've got by all accounts, we've got a major event taking place here, folks, and the possibility of biblical prophecy being fulfilled is very good right now. Shanna Lee wages, that's great. Now again, all gone. I wish I could track that down. RAF Typhoons. If you're seeing Royal Air Force, British Typhoons popping up on Twitter now too, if they're getting involved in this, it's on. It's on, okay? Because if you got Royal Air Force Typhoons getting involved in this, and maybe that's true, then we are looking at U.S. We're looking at NATO. We're looking at a major freaking war here. If that is true, if that is true, okay, folks. I'm just going to say if this is involved in this, and I wish I could track that down. If we have British Air Force Typhoons getting involved in this, you better start making plans. Okay, I'll just tell you that, because this is going to be some serious feces. I wish I could track that down, because that would be something that we need to know about. I'm not seeing it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm down to 6 sources right now because a couple of the others that I had open were dead. I'm waiting for this information to pop up. I want to confirm this, and I'm not doubting that it's true. It probably is. Again, the powers that shouldn't be, they want to see biblical prophecy fulfilled too, but they want to see it fulfilled for different reasons, and they're the ones that are orchestrating all this stuff. This stuff is being orchestrated by the hidden hand. Okay, and Satan ultimately is the operator of the hidden hand. He's speaking. He's making suggestions. He's putting thoughts into people's heads. He's whispering into ears. That's how he does it. He doesn't have the power to get into your head, no, but he can whisper, and these people are listening. And that's what we're keeping track of right now. And God knows this is going to happen. God knew at the dawn of time that this was going to happen. Okay, so this is nothing. This is nothing new. Okay, unconfirmed sirens can be heard in the Israeli city of Haifa. Okay, and that's per Nidal Ghazawi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Nidal Ghazawi on Twitter. Unconfirmed sirens can be heard in the Israeli city of Haifa. Again, this just seems once again like this was maybe slowing down for a bit, and now we have new events taking place. Okay. Per Strat Sentinel, we have got Reuters reports that Iranian forces are taking part in the counterattacks, shelling Israeli positions in the Golan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now that this is probably we have got a freaking hot war underway here, and this is a very sobering moment, folks. If you're watching this with me, we have got a hot war underway. And this is not going to be good. Okay, let me see what we have here. All right, again, Strat Sentinel's coming up with different sources of things here. U.S. officials. This is per Michael Wilner. Now, Michael Wilner works for the Jerusalem Post Washington bureau as a reporter. U.S. officials tell him they are closely monitoring ongoing Israeli-Iran clash along the Golan Heights. They feared this would happen today. And this is definitely tied in with Donald Trump pulling out of that farcical Iranian nuclear deal. This is certainly something to do with that. There's no doubt about it, folks. It seems, again, this situation, while maybe 15 minutes ago it was slowing down, It's becoming fluid like the lava from the Kilauea volcano now. We've got things taking place here, so I'm going to be sticking with this. You know, I'd love that slice of cheesecake right now, though I really would. If now this thing okay, now Sky News reports embedded in Golan Heights are saying that bombardment on Golan Heights has stopped. Okay, does this mean we're having another retooling, or has this moved? Are we concerned with other areas now? I don't think this is just going to end quietly, folks. This is not just going to stop, and then we'll have the usual rhetoric and threats going back and forth for another week until they decide to pick this up again where they left off. I can't picture that this is just going to stop, that they're going to say, okay, everybody had enough. We're going to put our toys away now. It's not going to be that easy, I don't think. Okay. All right. Nothing. Now, Hezbollah TV, this is per Firas Maksad on Twitter. Hezbollah, he's claiming that Hezbollah TV says 40, not 20 missiles were fired at Israel. 40. Okay, so Hezbollah TV says 40. Other sources say 20. It's probably 30. It's probably somewhere in between. Okay, again, in the last half hour, pro-Syria media details extensive attack against Israel military positions in the Golan, including listening posts, helipads, Israeli snow unit headquarters, Mount Hermon base, headquarters of Unit 810 Precision Targeting Unit. Israel accuses Iran of firing the missiles. All right. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a number of things, folks. You know, sometimes I'm wrong to even get out of bed in the morning, but I do it anyway. It seems to me, it seems to me that we have all the makings of a hot war underway right now. Again, now, Nadal Ghazawi. Again, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. New Israeli artillery fire targets Assad regime positions. Again, the tweet's written kind of badly. New Israeli artillery fire targets Assad regime positions in Kunitra. Okay, and we've got the unconfirmed sirens being heard in Haifa City in Israel, and that was about 15 minutes ago. Okay, and what else do we have here? Syrian army showing what remains of an Israeli cruise missile after it was intercepted over Damascus, and certainly there's going to be that. There's going to be missiles intercepted on all sides. That's going to happen. But it looks to me like we may have the potential soon fulfillment of biblical prophecy. As Paul Begley would say, there is something biblical going on in the signs. Now to switch gears here for a moment. Strat Sentinel is reporting military action in Yemen appears to be occurring as well. Local journalists at A7 Media report several large airstrikes in Sana'a, Yemen, in last 30 minutes. Probably Saudi Arabian airstrikes, I would guess. So we may have that now to mix into the soup here that we are looking at. All right, checking another source over here, folks, as things seem to be picking up again as far as information. Okay, but that's really nothing. That was something that was of no help to us. Now, I'm surprised that this source over here has gone quiet. I honestly hope she's okay. Okay, yeah, there's nothing new there. So let's shift our attention over here. Yes, we... all gone. Thank you. $2. That'll buy me a slice of cheesecake, brother. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's all you got in your Google account. That's okay, man. I thank you so much. Thank you, all gone, for all you do and all your support. I greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. You always seem to be there, and I am appreciative. Let's see what's going on over here. Shauna Lee Wages, I pray for wisdom for the leaders you put in place so that your will be done in the name of Jesus. Yes, amen. And his will be done. His will be done. It's that goes without saying. Um, yeah, I did hypersonic monkey brains. I did a report on that just a little while ago. Again, they're now concerned about more blasts coming out of the Kilauea volcano and the fissures in that region, and firing rocks for dozens of miles. There is the volcanic fog, which they call VOG. There is that sulfuric dioxide. There's been new eruptions. That situation is not over either. That situation is still fluid. Um, and as we read here, come on, people, it's all happening at once. War, volcanoes, earthquake, hail, floods, wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places. Folks, certainly seems like it. It absolutely does. I mean, we've had events. We've had events taking place now for decades, but the frequency, the intensity in which these things are happening, you'd have to think that the Lord is at the door, that we're seeing these things now, that that we have waited to see, that we thought we would see. Well, maybe we're seeing them now. Maybe we're seeing them now in such an increasing frequency that we can say we really have to be aware. Okay. Now we have reports of rockets launched by the Quds forces at IDF positions in Golan Heights from Damascus suburbs. The site is now destroyed by Delilah cruise missiles launched by Israeli Air Force F-16s. So F-16s have retaliated against the Quds forces in Damascus suburbs. Okay, as you would imagine, that would happen. Good gosh, this is certainly some manner of intensity. And again, Fierce Moxada is reporting that the attacks that right now nobody's claiming anything as far as responsibility, whether it be Syria or Iran. Again, we're seeing contradictory information. Everybody's trying to grab information at once. Everybody's diving into this soup and trying to get their spoonful. And this is not going to be over with anytime soon, I don't think. Here's this Lieutenant Peter Lerner has tweeted, been retweeted by Strat Sentinel. Ball is now in Israel's hands. Even if over, Israel will still have to prevent Iran from entrenching in Syria. I don't think this is over. What will Israel's response be? Dynamics of escalation or tactical exchange? I think we're having that tactical exchange right now that is escalating. Will Iran call it even until next time? Will Iran call it even until next time? That's something that I don't know. I don't know how far into this now that we can say that Iran. Now, Strat Sentinel is also reporting key points of military infrastructure and IRGC assets in Damascus seems to be the target of those particular Israeli strikes in that area. IAF and cruise missiles continue bombardment in multiple areas in Syria. Artillery fire from the border also continuing. So again, you have fire coming from multiple sources in multiple locations. And I am still curious as all get out about those RAF Typhoons that Al Ghan mentioned. I wish I could find something on that, because if that is involved in this, you have got war. You've got serious war. And on one hand, you better hope that this is not happening, because we got to pray, folks. We got to pray. We got to pray for the lost, those who refuse Jesus, who don't want to know him, that I'm not on board with that. I'm a good person. I'm going to heaven. I'm going to heaven because I'm a good person, they think. Okay, they've never killed anybody. They've done more good things than bad, so therefore they're a good person. I think that we need to be praying always for people that are lost, that don't want to know. And the thing of it is, we're getting to a point where they don't want to hear anymore. They need to see events like this, maybe. Events like this are what may open some eyes. Okay. This is Nadal Ghazawi breaking, according to this report, and this is coming from a Middle Eastern source. According to this report, several huge explosions heard inside Division 10 base at Qatna, Damascus. So that would have been a Syrian base, I would assume. breaking Saudi Air Force massively bombing pro-Iranian Houthi militias in Sana'a City. So again, we have this event now taking place in Yemen again. Saudi Air Force massively bombing pro-Iranian Houthi militias in Sana'a City. Israeli airstrikes targeting 137 artillery base in Damascus, and that's sourced from pro-regime sources through Nadal Ghazawi. We have got just a plate full of things going on here, folks. A plate full of things going on. What's going to happen in Yemen? What's going to happen? Yemen, I think, might have been one of those nations we were talking about a while ago. That General Wesley Clark, did he not mention Yemen as being one of those nations that were on the list of nations that had to have been conquered, you could say? And would the U.S. just kind of inspire the Saudis to go take care of that little matter for them? Something to consider. The stuff is just popping up here now, folks, and I am trying to chase this down. Again, when we're looking at this Israeli, Iranian, Syrian thing, we've got multiple things taking place in multiple places. All right, again, but we don't have as so far no reports of any ground troops advancing anywhere. That would be that would indicate to me hot war. If you've got ground troops advancing, I would say you'd have hot war. Right now, there's missiles being exchanged over the borders. The Iranians shooting some, the Syrians shooting some, the Israelis shooting some, and you've got Israel appears to be targeting specific artillery locations and troop locations in and around Damascus. You've got the Iranians that fired, the Quds forces fired missiles at the Golan Heights area. You've got retaliation, then retaliation, then retaliation. We've got that taking place. So we have all these things that are going on right now, and we're almost 2 hours into my reporting on this. And again, maybe you could say it's slowing a little, but we have at the very least some serious tit for tat taking place here. I'm looking here. Israeli breaking news. Again, Israel-Syria border as both sides clash following large rocket barrage into Israel. It appears to me that this could be one of those major events that have been prophesied. I don't know. I don't know right now. I would venture a guess probably so. Trying to get, okay, maybe we have something new here. Let's see. Let's see now. Okay, SAA air defense units alight the skies of Damascus, attempting to take out inbound targets. Okay, so again, multiple vectors. Strikes are continuing as per Strat Sentinel 5 minutes ago. Strikes are continuing, and Syrian air defenses are attempting to take out the inbound targets coming from Israel on multiple vectors. So again, it seems like we have multiple locations involved in this right now. This is per Israeli breaking news. In the past 5 minutes, there have been dozens of explosion sounds and flashes going off in the sky in the Damascus area. Live broadcasting shows continuous streams of Syrian surface-to-air missiles being fired. It is quite surreal. That is a quote. It is quite surreal. So Damascus, okay, focusing on Damascus. Are we looking at Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1? Is this finally going to be it? Damascus is already a city that has been very badly damaged. Damascus, well, it may not be the ruinous heap that Isaiah refers to. Damascus is certainly a city that has been very dilapidated by all of this warfare that has been taking place. But to say that it ceases, don't forget the scripture says it'll cease to be a city. It'll cease to be a city. All right, we may have more. Patriot missile defense systems in northern Israel activated. Okay. So again, per Strat Sentinel, Israel has activated its Patriot missile defense system. So now we're not talking about the Iron Dome, we're talking about Patriot missile defense systems in northern Israel activated. So this could be considered yet another move, another escalation, maybe another notch. We've got ourselves an event on our hands here, folks. There's no doubt about that. And still, and there's Yemen. Okay, there's Yemen. What is going to be happening in Yemen now? Again, the Saudis claiming that they're targeting Iranian-backed Houthi forces. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Good gosh. Things to make you nervous. If you didn't have the Spirit of the Lord on you, you'd be scared to death right now. Okay, Israeli missiles being intercepted right now above Damascus. Okay, again, breaking according to this report. Again, it's coming from a source that is a source that I can't read. It is a language I'm not familiar with, but being interpreted here by Nadal Ghazawi. According to this report, Israeli F-16 jets launched several airstrikes against Iranian IRGC forces in southern Damascus. Yeah. Again, while we're reporting this, it's just the more and more as we see this stuff, as we see this happening, you could become very nervous. You could become very, very upset by what we're talking about here, let alone if you live in that area. And again, we do have the situation in Yemen where Saudi Arabia has fired on Iranian-backed Houthi forces in Sana'a, Yemen. Okay, so again, you have another Iranian element there. You have the Iranian element here in this event with Israel. We have an Iranian element where Saudi Arabia is concerned with what's taking place in Yemen right now. You have these two things taking place right now. You have Syria, Damascus. You have this exchange between Israel and Syria and Iran. Iran and Syria against Israel, you could say. And then we will have the situation in Yemen. We have that taking place. So again, enough to watch right here. I think right now what's taking place, if I had to rank these events, what's taking place involving Israel is of paramount importance. To a lesser extent, what's taking place in Yemen, realizing that that could very easily grow into something else as well. Okay. We're still seeing reports of all the explosions and flashes going off in the sky in the Damascus area. Folks, again, it is a situation that is tense and intense. And we have two different things taking place. We have Yemen, and more importantly, we have what's taking place in Syria. Folks, if you're watching and you're not in the chat, pop in there and just say hi. You haven't got to talk. Just say hi. Let me know you're out there. Give this video a thumbs up, or I should say the stream a thumbs up. Share it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, please. And again, hit the super chat if you want to buy me a slice of cheesecake or a whole cheesecake. All right. All Gone bought me a slice. Good. I'm going to have to go get that. Craving cheesecake, something wicked today, folks. I don't know why. Maybe I'm pregnant. I don't know. James Coop is in there. Hi, James. Welcome aboard. We're keeping track of, we got Lena Frank in there. Welcome aboard. We're keeping track of events involving Israel, Iran, Syria. We've got missiles going back and forth. We've got explosions taking place around Damascus. We've got Faye 78 in here. We've got Israel targeting Iranian forces. We've had Iran fire 20 armaments at Israel. So we've had a direct involvement with Iran firing armaments at Israel, projectiles. Sunscreen. Well, we might need sunscreen here, folks. No, old school warrior. No, good gosh, no. I could have worn some sunscreen today. I got sunburned today. I know I look pretty white in this video, but I got toast in the back of my neck, on my face, on my arms, because I was out fishing in the bright sunlight and I didn't think to, excuse me, coat myself with some sunscreen. And hopefully I am not pregnant because, well, just think of the news I would make. It'd be good for my YouTube channel. If I was pregnant, think of the followers I would get. Think of the books I would sell. Okay. Oh, I see something popping up here. Whenever I see information, when I see a number 1 or a number 2, I'm going to jump over there. Okay. Again, per Sky News Arabia, Patriot missiles are active in Golan Heights. Okay. So we've got Patriot missiles. We've got the Iron Dome working. We've got Iran firing at Israel. We've got Syria firing at Israel. We've got one hell of a back and forth taking place right now. We've had Israeli F-16s firing missiles around Damascus, targeting specific Iranian and Syrian force locations. We've got events going on in Yemen right now with the Saudis striking positions of the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. We've got that taking place. Again, we had mention of RAF Typhoons, that's Royal Air Force Typhoons, taking off. If that was involved in this event right here, then you know that we've got one major hot war underway. Right now, what we have looks like possibly the building of a hot war. The potential fulfillment of biblical prophecy. My mouth's getting tired, I guess, but I'm going to hang with us a while longer because things keep popping up. This is if you weren't filled with the Holy Spirit, this would be a very frightening time right now to be looking at this stuff. But a huge war could very well be coming. It's prophesied. We certainly could be looking at the start of it this very evening. But before I take that leap, I mean, it certainly seems like it. It certainly seems like it. And in my, I'm not one that can declare war and make it so. That's above my pay grade. I can't do that. But I am watching all of this. Again, the Patriot missile defense systems being activated, and there's something new here. What do we have? Okay, just more Iranian projectiles. We have all this happening right now. Again, this is probably going to go on potentially for hours. But what are the far-reaching effects of this? Okay, are we going to have the bigger players getting involved in this, like Russia and the U.S.? Is there going to be the hook in the jaw that could provoke the fulfillment of Gog-Magog, prophesied in Ezekiel chapter 30 to 39? Russia is cozy with Iran. Russia and Iran, they're business partners, they're friends. Will Russia come to Iran's defenses? Will they make a move on Israel with other Middle Eastern parties? Israel's hated by everybody in the Middle East. When that move happens, when those forces, the forces of Gog and Magog and Turkey, Persia, Syria, Iraq, all these different nations could be part of this. When they make this move on Israel, God will stop it with fire and brimstone. He will knock down those assets. I know it sounds spectacular, but you can't underestimate anything that God can do. And the prophecy goes on to say that the birds will feed on the carrion of the soldiers for 7 years. 7 years. So that's a lot of soldiers that would go down. Now, some will say that is a tribulation event. Others will say that is a post-tribulation event, and yet others believe that it could be a pre-tribulation event. Gog-Magog is mentioned in Ezekiel, and it's also mentioned in one of the last books of Revelation, if I remember correctly. So Gog-Magog is mentioned in 2 different books in the Bible. So there is that possibility that this will not lead to that is a later event, or it could be coming right at us. It could be coming right at us right now. Old School Warrior writes that the elite love blood sacrifice, your children and their war games. Oh yeah, population control, absolutely. Have that manageable number. Have that manageable number. The thing of it is, the elite have no idea that the Antichrist is going to have no use for them. The elite right now are building his one world kingdom. They are building it for him. They're being played. That is the most interesting thing I believe about the elite folks, the puppet masters. They're being played. They're being played by Satan himself. Satan is using them to build this one world system that the Antichrist will run. And the Antichrist will have no use for them. They'll be gone, dead. Trust me on this. They're being used as tools. They're tools right now to build this thing. The blood sacrifice, the population control, all part of it. That manageable number of people in the world that can be easily controlled. And we're seeing it here in the U.S. We're seeing it with abortions. We're seeing it with just the amount of killing in the streets, gang warfare in the big cities, the shootings in places like Chicago every day, all the big cities, the people dying in the streets, crime. It's all part of lowering that number. Lowering that number. War. Oh, war is a great way to lower a number. That too. Gays, yes. Lowering the number, keeping people from procreating. Well, and then some cases people are procreating and procreating excessively. But we have this control system that's in place right now, and the average person can't see it. Civil Cold War. Well, I firmly believe that there is going to be a second civil war in the United States of America, and it's going to be political parties and people. There is going to be fighting in the streets. There is going to be battle in the streets. I have written about it in my new book. Not to keep pumping that book, but you'll read about what I think is going to happen. Let's see. Okay, this is just a note. Okay, this may or may not be important, but it's a note to point out. And this is from Strat Sentinel, and it's regarding this situation with Israel. Just a note: the U.S. Harry S. Truman is in the Med while this major skirmish between Israel and Syria is going on. So the Harry S. Truman, somebody may have mentioned that earlier in the chat. The Harry S. Truman is in the Mediterranean right now while this is taking place. Will it be called into duty? That remains to be seen. Is it just a peculiar coincidence that the U.S. Harry Truman would be there in the Med while this is going on? Or is this something that is just, strangely enough, it happened to be there because it would be there anyway? You know, when they come to take our guns, it's again, I hate to keep pumping my new book. You got to read it. Wait till you read about the gun thing in my new book. Oh my gosh, folks, you got to read Light, a Wayfarer's Story. I don't want to give it all away to you. You got to read it. You know, the Kindle's only $1.99. Paperback's only $7.99. It's linked down there. Go give it a look, and you can read chapter 1 for free. That's linked down there as well. All right, now, what have we got here? I just saw something interesting pop up. A vast amount of flying jets can be heard heading to the north in Haifa. Yes, I have no doubt of that at all. Yeah, okay. Again, Haifa, there were reports of sirens in Haifa some time ago. Okay, I seem to have lost one of my sources here. All right, I'm down to 5. I must have closed something. I don't know how I did that. But I've got enough things going right now. But it sounds to me like we have just so many different things taking place over there right now. Then we have now Yemen popping into the picture too. So much, folks. So much. All right. We got something new here potentially. Let's see here. It's just a video of SAA air defenses attempting to take out Israeli projectiles. Okay, so again, there seems to be a calming of this. Now, this is per the AP, hypersonic monkey brains. Israeli army reports air raid sirens sounding in the Golan Heights. No, Old School Warrior, I'm not in the book. I'm not in the book. Okay, I'm just the author. I mean, you know, I could possibly appear like like Alfred Hitchcock used to appear in his movies. I might appear in there, but nah. And thank you for that, Shanna Lee Wages. Thank you. I, uh, I know the value of, I know the value of Israel to the Lord, and I know that it is His chosen land. And when I see these things happen, it is my obligation to report on them. I have to report on them. I can't. Um, I do believe I am a watcher at the wall, and I have to watch, and I have to report, and I love doing it. Um, Now this is interesting too. This is this is per Firas Maksad. I don't know where he's. This is, and he's quoting an AI or an Al Mayadeen TV correspondent in South Lebanon. Evidently, while all this is going on, Israel Air Force now conducting mock air raids over South Lebanon. So they're also evidently conducting mock air raids over South Lebanon. If this is true, and again, he's quoting a reporter on the scene there, we have got just an unbelievable amount of things taking place here. And missiles, according to Israeli breaking news, the missiles are still going up from Damascus as Israeli jets are heard. Sporadic explosions heard off and on now for over 2 hours. Again, folks, this is tense, and it is intense, and we are. I am really I'm really concerned about the possibility of the bigger dogs being dragged into this dogfight. That is something I'm thinking about right now. The bigger dogs that would be dragged into this dogfight would be who? They'd be the Russians and the U.S. Those are the bigger dogs, and this is something that is concerning me because, while you know, I am a fan of Bible prophecy. I am truly into following the potential fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Eschatology, I love eschatology. When you start to think of these things potentially taking place, it does make you a little concerned. You start to be concerned about unfinished business. And you know, I'd have to say that we all in our lives have some manner of unfinished business, whether it be with family or people that you wish you could reach for the Lord. You have this feeling of unfinished business, and you start to feel like you've got to get this unfinished business finished. And that is something that you just have to pray about it, because right now we need to be praying. Okay, we need to be praying. We need to be praying very, very hard for people that are lost. Now Danny Mackay, if I'm mispronouncing his name, I don't know. Large explosions heard around Damascus. That has been kind of the trend here. Syrian air defenses intercepted several Israeli rockets in the last wave of attacks. Only target to have been hit is reportedly the Mazeh air base, and the Mazeh air base has been hit by an Israeli rocket. So again, Damascus seems to be, or areas around Damascus seem to be where a lot of this is centered right now. Thank you for the reminder. I could very easily lose my voice. I've been struggling with allergies, so that certainly is affecting me too. But as for now, we're gonna run with this a little while longer. I've got to have a voice for tomorrow. I've got news to report tomorrow. I may be reporting on this tomorrow in videos. Who knows what? But James Coop is writing any word on what the targets in Damascus are. They appear to be troops and missile sites, James, as I understand. Again, this seems to be the things that Israel is most threatened by right now, that they're going after. Thank you, Clark Kent. Thank you. Yeah, please subscribe. I do greatly appreciate it. I enjoy doing this. I feel like I'm supposed to do this, and when I'm doing something, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Um, in Harlem, I don't live in Harlem, old school warrior, but in my part of New York State, it got up to about 83 degrees today, um, and it was a hot, sunny day. A very hot, sunny day. It's still quite warm out there right now. Um, it got up to 80. I think 83 was the latest I saw when I was out fishing, and it felt warm. Okay, here's some more information. 4 cruise missiles intercepted above Konitra. Okay, breaking as of 5 minutes ago. Explosion heard inside Division 4 base in western Damascus. Okay, so again, it sounds like, and this is a pro-regime source that is being quoted by Nadal Ghazawi, a pro-regime source, that Division 4 base in western Damascus was targeted. This again, okay, as of 10 minutes ago, 7 Israeli F-16 jets are operating in the skies of Syria right now. Again, we had the explosion heard inside the Mazeh Air Base in Damascus countryside. Good gosh, folks, this sounds like a very, very hot situation to me. That just does not seem to be. Just when you think it's simmering down, there's some more reports of more things. Okay. Now this was retweeted by Strat Sentinel. Second series of Syria Arab Army and IRGC Quds Force artillery attack against the Israel Army positions in Golan Heights started 40 minutes ago. Okay, so these forces are attacking Israeli Army positions in the Golan Heights started 40 minutes ago, which resulted in more serious airstrikes. I think there's a bit of a typo here, carried out by the IAF against the Syrian army 20 minutes ago, and there might be something else here. Okay, a tweeter that Stratton Sentinel is referencing. This is the largest attack Israel has launched during this 7-year conflict. I would say so. Kiswa in Syria is currently being hammered by Israeli missiles. Folks, this is some serious feces that's going on here right now. I just want to say that. As to what this is going to develop into, we are still waiting to see. Okay. Breaking missile hits the Republican Guards Command in Qazian, Damascus. Okay. So we've had a missile hit the Republican Guards Command in Qazian, Damascus. Iran is not going to take that lightly. My friends, we who follow Christ have been waiting for these things, been watching for these things, been expecting these things. But I got to tell you, this thing is just announcing these things to you right now, folks, is giving me goosebumps. This is some serious material that we are talking about here, folks. We may be witnessing something very historic here. And we have these missiles being fired from all of these points. We've got Israeli F-16s flying around. We just had Republican Guards Command in Qasim, Damascus, struck by a missile. Again, you got to think that Iran is not going to take that lying down. And this is something interesting. As I'm saying this, Danny Mackay, or Mackie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, is tweeting, "This situation is no joke. It's a serious escalation which risks developing into something far more widespread." This is what I've been saying. This is what we all know, folks. I am waiting for the big dogs to come out of the doghouse on this one. Here comes Russia, possibly so. Don't forget, Russia is an ally of Iran. Russia is an ally of Syria. We've already been fighting this proxy war of the U.S. and Russia in Syria. Again, this is, folks. I hate to I hate to ever use hyperbole, or I hate to be a drama queen. I hate to exaggerate anything. I try to be level-headed and all gone. If that's true, that 2 Russians were killed, Here come the big dogs. But those of you out there right now that don't know Jesus, I just want to encourage you, please, please. You may be living with borrowed time at this point. You need to ask the Lord into your life. We're all sinners, folks. Every one of us. We all fall short of the glory of God every day. Every one of us. Not, as it says in Romans, to paraphrase, not one of us is good. Not one of us. We have nothing good in us but the Holy Spirit when we ask it into us. But this is the time, folks. I'm just asking you, please. I'm encouraging you. We potentially are playing on borrowed time right now. Know Jesus as your Savior and Lord. Know Him. Know Him. He's not a religion. He's the relationship. It is a relationship. And as soon as I start talking about Him, I start losing viewers, and that's okay. That's all right. Those of you who are here right now, we may be looking at something potentially historic here, something potentially prophetic, and you should believe He could very well be at the door. And there's no more time for bullcrap. I want to encourage you, please, please. He is ready and waiting for you. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to ask Him into your life. His hands are extended just like this. He's asking you right now. He doesn't care what you're doing. He doesn't care where your head is at. He doesn't care where you live. He doesn't care if you're in Syria. He doesn't care if you're in Israel. He doesn't care if you're in Canada. He doesn't care if you're in the U.S. He doesn't care if you're in Antarctica. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if currently right now you are following Islam. He wants you to turn away from that, and He wants you to turn to Him. Turn to Him. Turn to Him. He is ready right now to forgive you. Right now. Right now. You haven't got to be all squeaky clean inside. I'm a piece of crap. I'm a piece of crap. I'll tell you that right now. But every day I pray, conform me to be more like you. I want to be more like you. More like you. And we will never be completely like Him, completely conformed until we're home with Him. But let Him go to work. Let Him go to work on you. Okay? Let Him save you. He wants to save you. He wants to. He wants to. And I'm watching my view count go down, and I don't care. I don't care. If it scares some, if they don't want to hear it, if they get sick of it, that's fine. Okay? I'm not going to go on and on. I'm just telling you, you may be looking at a time where time may be borrowed. Time may be borrowed at this point. We may be looking at things that are going to be things that some of us could never have imagined, yet others of us have been expecting. Again, I am tempering what I say here regarding these events that we're watching right now, because we've seen things get quite warm over there before. But when you're looking at the intensity of all the different things that are taking place, when you've got Iranian forces, when you've got a Republican Guard command being targeted, when you've got Iranians firing missiles at Syria or at Israel from Syria, you were looking at an escalation here. You were looking at an escalation that could drag Russia into this. And if Russia gets dragged into this, the United States and NATO are going to get dragged into this. And you are going to have potentially some manner of world war on your hands. And this is not going to be pretty. This is not going to be pretty, folks. You got to prep physically. You got to prep spiritually. You got to prep spiritually. Get ready, okay? Again, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I can't make you. I can't argue you into salvation. I can't argue you. I can't lay it all out for you. Well, here's the reason why you should do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my argument. I can't debate you into salvation because if you have to be argued or debated into it, your heart's not ready. And it's right here. Okay? Syrian army artillery fire targets Israeli positions in Golan right now. Right now. Okay? Again, this is per Nadal Ghazawi. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this man's name correctly. We have breaking reports that Bali and Kalkala Air Base were hit by missiles in Syria. Okay? Massive bombardment hits Damascus City. Massive bombardment hits Damascus City. Damascus City. Important. No chance to intercept all those missiles. Explosions heard in Duma and eastern Ghouta. Folks, it sounds almost surreal to me. It sounds almost surreal to me. Okay. Again, we're trying to remain cool about all this because things come and go, events happen. We wake up the next morning, the life goes on. But you got to think that maybe right now, tonight, folks, we are witnessing something potentially historic. And this is something that is not just going to be settled out tonight. And tomorrow morning, we can go back to hearing all about what's her name? The prostitute, Stormy Daniels, and Robert Mueller, that freak show, and Michael Cohen, and Donald Trump, and Russians, and orange, and golden showers, and Russians hiding in every computer and throwing every election, and poor Hillary should have been president, and Hillary's got a back brace, and this one's lying, and that one's lying, and this one's lying, and that one's lying, and we're going to have 16 overpaid lawyers looking into this president, and no. I am from upstate New York. That's my secret secure location in upstate New York. Welcome aboard, Zion Guetta, Hassan Jafar. Hello, welcome aboard. Charles Murray, welcome aboard. I haven't caught up with you folks in a while. Welcome aboard. Thanks for being here. Please give this video, this feed, a thumbs up. Please share it, folks. Again, we could be looking at some incredibly important items taking place right now. And I am happy to be here to report this to you. This is what I like to do. This is what I believe I was called to do. Okay, intense Israeli strikes continue on Damascus. Okay, this is from Strat Sentinel. Israel is overwhelming SAA air defense with a number of assets they are employing. Okay, are we looking at Isaiah chapter 17:1? I mean, are we looking right into the eyes of this thing? Are we looking right at the fulfillment of this prophecy? We don't know at this point. We don't know at this point. But I got to tell you, it certainly sounds like Damascus is getting the bloody hell hammered out of it right now. Okay. Syrian air defense is still firing at targets in sky over Damascus. Okay, so you're hearing now that they're firing back. This is a different, again, this is Danny Mackay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this man's name correctly. I think Danny Mackay might be the correct way to pronounce it. But this, as he said, this situation is no joke. Folks, this situation is no joke. It is a serious escalation, which risks developing into something far more widespread. Okay, Israeli breaking news has something new here. What do they have? They have this. They have, okay, again, kind of a known, but breaking Israeli military says they are currently targeting Iranian targets within Syria. So they're targeting, their Israeli military is admitting they are currently targeting Iranian targets within Syria. Folks, again, feces is getting real here, I think. Leith Abu Fadel tweets, it's almost 3:30 a.m. and everyone in Damascus is wide awake. I can understand. If I was in Damascus, I would be wide awake right now. How could you sleep through this? How could you possibly sleep through this, folks? So we have, again, we have just a veritable plethora of things taking place involving Iran, Syria, and in Israel, excuse me. Remembering, Iran is supported by Russia. Russia is a huge supporter of Iran. They are allies. Russia is an ally of Syria. We have the possibility of the big dogs getting dragged into this thing, depending on what happens tonight. There's that one heavy sleeper we all have. We all have that friend. Well, we all have one friend. We have one friend who has called us friend. And amen to that. We are looking at, again, potentially. I don't want to I'm not a drama queen. I'm not going to over dramatize this thing. I'm not going to call this the end of the world. I'm not going to call this World War III. I'm not going to say for sure that tonight we're going to see Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1 fulfilled. I'm not going to say that the Gog-Magog war is going to be underway in 48 hours. I'm not going to say any of those things. I'm not going to overhype this thing, folks, but I'm going to tell you that we're looking at some major events right now. Again, Danny Mackay here. I like his opinions. He is a Syrian. He is in Syria. This has developed from a standoff 24 hours ago to a full-on war. Huge escalation from Israel. So in this man's opinion, we're looking at a full-on war, and I would believe that he is currently somewhere. He's all things Syria journalist, commentator. So I would believe he is somewhere over in that region right now. He is on that ball field someplace. And so when he tweets these things, he probably has somewhat of a bird's eye view. Let's see what else we have. Okay, we have new airstrikes targeting Mazar Air Base in Damascus countryside. Okay, we have a breaking this again. This is from Nadal Ghazawi. Damascus commercial tower got hit by a missile. That's per a report. He's tweeting from Orient News. 2 Israeli missiles intercepted in Homs province. I don't know where he's sourcing that, but again, this guy has some interesting things he's putting up, and he is a great help right now. He is a researcher from Germany. He's visited the YPG in Syria. He's a MENA analyst. He focuses on Islamic terrorism and jihadi groups in Syria and Iraq. So certainly he would have an interest in these type of things. All right, let's see what's new. What's new? So what's new with what's new with Stormy Daniels? I mean, what's new with Robert Mueller? What's new with the Russians hiding in the toilet? What's new with Michael Cohen? What's new with the 18 lawyers? What's new with all that stuff? Screw that stuff. Screw that stuff. That stuff is a freak show, Charles Murray. That stuff is a freak show. That stuff. And that stuff is distracting so many people that it's frightening. Ellie Prepper, welcome aboard. Stormy Daniels has possible Nexium ties. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Welcome aboard, Ellie Prepper. Always good to see you. We are talking about what looks to be warfare being waged right now with Syria, Iran, and Israel. And old school warriors got Russians in his new flashlight. Yeah, well, Russian water. It's Russian water. I'm almost out of water here, folks. I better go easy on it. Okay. A Damascus report by Damascus news page 1.2 reports that 3 enemy aircrafts were shot down by air defense missiles. That's very possible. That's very possible. It is unfortunate news about hot action. This is very hot action. This is very, very hot action. We're looking at the potential of biblical prophecy being fulfilled here. We're looking at the potential of wider warfare, looking at the possibility of the big dogs getting dragged into this one. We are looking at, and then we also have the Saudis targeting Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen within the last hour as well. So we have the Saudis targeting with their military Iranian elements in Yemen, and then we have this again involving Iranian elements in Syria. Israel targeting Iranian elements in Syria. But what's different tonight than last time is the retaliation. The retaliation is much more considerable than last time. And Iran's not going to take it lying down. Israel's not going to take it lying down. These are the things that we are watching right now. And again, there seems to be a sudden slowing in the action. But just as soon as things slow down, they get hot again. All right, folks, don't go away. I'm going to go top off my water bottle. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'll be back in seconds, okay? I got to go fill this thing up because I'm getting thirsty, and I need to be here talking about this. I'll be right back. Yeah, buddy. Got some water. Okay. Yeah. Old school warrior, that's a great point. You don't want to be in places like LA or New York when the caca, when the feces impacts the air cooling device. No. Sandra McLaughlin, welcome aboard. Zion Guetta, welcome aboard. Great to have you in here, folks. LA Prepper, of course. Hussein Jafar. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Did I do that in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, Millie Mill? I think I did. That's an expression my dad used to use when I was a kid. He'd say, Jim, we're going to be ready to go in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Subscribe to my channel, folks, if you haven't done so already. And if you're following world events, if you're following the stuff we're following right now, you should read my new book, Light a Wayfarer Story. The Kindle's only $1.99. Paperback is $7.99. Folks, there is that super chat that if you want to buy me another piece of cheesecake, I could use a piece of cheesecake. If you want to buy me one through super chat, what else we have? We have all that going on, folks. But subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. LA Prepper, thank you for that little shout out to me. I greatly appreciate it. I do try to stay on top of breaking events. Absolutely. That's what I love to do. That's what I feel like I'm supposed to do. So I do it. And you know, my fiction books very much parallel these things that we're talking about right now. I am trying to see if anything new has popped up on the event du jour, or are we in another holding pattern right now where things seem to be slowing down? It's almost like they have to reload or they have to refuel before they can come back with the next round. No, okay. Well, you know, there's one other thing that I have failed to keep track of. I'm going to pop open yet another tab here. Okay, so bear with me while I open another tab. I'm opening up another tab. I am tab silly right now. I have got one just when it comes to this stuff. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be my 7th tab I'm opening again. I had 7 open earlier. I was down to 5. Open up another one. Now we're going to open yet another one. One more source of things that I can keep track of. All right, let's see what we've got here. What do we have here? What do we have here? Looking for the latest and greatest news on this event, folks. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. All right, I'm just looking for anything new as far as what we've looked at. And as far as anything new right here, that's going to be one of my secondary sources now, because there's more things. Things seem to be slowing down, but somehow I don't think that this is over. I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination. You got 14 tabs open, hypersonic monkey brains. Wow, you are tab heavy. In total, okay. Considering everything I've got open now, not just news, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 tabs open. I mean, I've got Gmail open. Of course, I've got YouTube open. I've got Stat Counter open, and then I've got all of these other tabs. All the remaining 7 are related to what we're talking about right now. Zion, are you in Israel? Where exactly are you located? Just out of curiosity, you can type it in there and let us know. John Jones, you have 20 tabs open. Welcome aboard. You're in the middle. Okay. All right. 20 tabs open. How many monitors do you have? Thank you, LA Prepper. I greatly appreciate it. Tel Aviv. Okay, Tel Aviv. So you're kind of outside of where all this is happening right now. I mean, you're kind of I would say you're fairly secure where you are right now. You have the 55-inch 4K SUD TV. Wow. You must be, you sound very tech oriented, but Old School Warrior has no tabs open right now. Shanna, thank you so much for that slice of cheesecake. I greatly appreciate it. Junkyard Jedi says reloading, and Zion, yeah, you are in Tel Aviv. I'd say you're kind of outside the action right now. Well, welcome aboard. Good to have you here. Stay safe. Stay safe. Absolutely. Parf 245. That's a good point. If he has zero tabs open, maybe he's watching on a phone or a tablet. Um, all right. I almost never felt the second Lebanon war. All right, folks. Looks like there might be something new here. Let's see. Let's see. Just another IDF Spox confirms that Israel is currently taking action against Iranian targets in Syria. Okay. And again, folks, you got to think this is not going to go quietly into the night. This is not going to on your phone. Yeah, I thought so. This is not going to go quietly into the night, folks. This is going to be quite an event for quite some time. And again, if you're out there, pop in the chat, say hi, give this a thumbs up. Just say hello. Let me know you're here. You haven't got to talk. If you're bashful, just say hello. Something. We're taking inventory here. Okay. This is this is not a tiny group. This is getting stuffed up. Allergies. This is a decent group, and we're pretty well active in here, and we're just we're all engaged, and it's a very good thing. My ears just popped. Oh man. All right. Hopefully I don't sneeze. Damn allergies. I hate allergies. It's this time of year too, when the weather gets hot and all the pollen starts popping open. That's when they bother me, but it does affect my voice, unfortunately. I do start to lose my voice sometimes. Just again, checking the rounds here to see what else is busting new as far as this go. Again, it seems like we're in a reloading phase right now where things have settled down. But somehow I don't think that this is going to settle down. Now, we are again heading toward, it's going to be daylight. I mean, we've got to be, it's 8:45 p.m. here Eastern time. I think Israel's about 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So you got to think that it's early morning in Israel right now. So you got to wonder if they're going to continue on with this once the sun comes up, or are they going to wait? Are they going to kind of hide away for a while and come back at it once the sun goes down tomorrow night? According to, again, Danny Mackay, Syrian air defense is reportedly downed an Israeli missile near Homs. Okay. And then we've read that they're being overwhelmed, that Syria is being overwhelmed by this stuff, which I would tend to believe. Checking this source over here. Again, things are slow on this source. There seems to be a reloading period right now. So why don't we talk about the important news? Stormy Daniels, Robert Mueller. No, just kidding. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Thank you, Zion. It's 3:45 right now. Thank you. I had a feeling that's about what time it was. So you're probably what, about 3 hours maybe from sunrise there. And I wonder if this is going to quiet down once sunrise comes, that maybe they will kind of tuck this away till maybe dark tomorrow night. I don't know. Hussein, that's an interesting point as well too. It's a very good point. And again, I think some of this is inspired too by the U.S. pulling out of that farcical Iranian nuclear deal. I think that somehow this was like a little bit of gasoline thrown on these tensions over here, because you got to look at the timing of this is rather interesting, that we have this significant escalation tonight, when yesterday Donald Trump announced that he was pulling out of the nuke deal with Iran. And sunrise in Israel, at least where Zion is located, will be at 5:40 a.m. That's about what time it'll be here tomorrow morning too. So I wonder, comes sunrise, if this is going to die down, or if this is going to continue into the daylight hours, when everything can be seen. And the 70th anniversary of Israel, that is a very important point. I think all of these factors are playing into this right now. The nuke deal being terminated, or the U.S. backing out of it. Of course, the European Union will probably remain in some manner of farcical nuclear deal with Iran, to their peril, I believe. The U.S. has backed out. It's Israel's 70th anniversary. All events, I think, that are playing into the importance of what we're looking at this evening. And it does seem like with all these different things, these 7 different sources I'm looking at right now, that things seem to be slowing again. And could it be that they're slowing for the evening? That there's going to be a bedtime, so to speak, where all the armaments go home and they get rested and retooled for another round tomorrow night. I don't know. This again is what we are trying to keep track of. Let's see what new things we've got happening right here. This one source I'm looking at is mostly just opinion against Israel. Yeah, the world hates Israel, and you can see it just by looking at these tweets. But again, God's chosen land, whether you love it or hate it, it doesn't mean that everyone that lives in Israel is then therefore shiny and golden. Just like not everyone that lives in America is shiny and golden either. I mean, but it's God's chosen land. Okay, this is God's prophetic timepiece. So what you see taking place here is of paramount importance. Okay. Yeah, just some photos popping up that don't look especially spectacular. What takes place in Israel is of paramount importance, folks. More important than Stormy Daniels, more important than Robert Cohen, more important than all of that stuff that the mainstream media is trying to distract us with through the misdirection machine. All right, so again, there seems to be this sudden calm where, again, I'd recommend tonight, folks, a lot of prayer. And when I say a lot, I guess I mean sincere prayer. Pray for those who have rejected the Lord, that they will now accept his gift of grace on faith. Pray for peace wherever you are in your neighborhood. Pray for peace in your neighborhood. Pray for peace on the streets of the city that you live in. Pray for level-headedness in the United States of America, especially. Pray for level-headedness amongst its citizens, amongst not just the government, but amongst its citizens. Because here in the U.S., while many people will disagree with what I'm about to say, we're nearing a flashpoint here. We are tense here in the U.S. We are very tense right now. Things are very, very tight. We are a very divided nation. We are very divided culturally, very divided spiritually, very divided politically. The mainstream media is helping to foment that division. We've been told that we are being pitted against each other. It's divide and conquer. The powers that be are doing this. We need to pray for the people of this nation. Something has been explosions all over Damascus City. All right. Is that what I'm looking at right here? Okay. Again, are we looking at the possibility or the probability of Damascus becoming a ruinous heap this very evening? Is that going to happen? Or is that still some days, weeks, or months off? But if there's a new round of explosions in Damascus, if something has been hit there, it is going to be significant and it's going to be serious. And I know I'm using simple language: significant, serious. Can I say catastrophic? Well, maybe not so much catastrophic, but Zion Guida is in Tel Aviv, and Tel Aviv so far seems to be out of the firing range of all this stuff. That hypersonic monkey brains, that's very interesting. That right there, if there were 4 loud booms heard in Saudi Arabian capital of Riyadh, we are looking at a major hellstorm here. I must say, we have Yemen, Saudi Arabia as a backdrop to what we're looking at here taking place in Syria tonight, with Israel targeting Iranian assets yet again, only this time a more robust retaliation from Syria and Israel and Iran. We have missiles going back and forth between Iran and Syria, Iran, Syria, and Israel. Okay, so you have Israel on one side, you have Iran and Syria on the other side. We have F-16s flying around Damascus. We have explosions in Damascus. We have a Quds forces, a Revolutionary Guards Quds forces command that has been struck with a missile by Israel. We have all the potential here for a significant war to break out. We have the potential here for maybe the most significant military event potentially that we have ever seen. Potentially. I got to say potentially, okay? Certainly, if not ever, in a long time. But fortunately, Zion appears to be safe in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv seems to be out of the fray right now, and we're glad to have Zion here with us. I wish we had somebody come in that is actually closer to the action, too. Now, do we have something new here? Let me see. Just a lot of pictures of things, which, again, the pictures in some cases don't really tell the story. But if there were just those explosions, according to what we just saw here in the chat, if there were those explosions in Riyadh, then we have just got multiple things taking place here, and somewhat overwhelming, you might say, folks. We need to be prayerful, okay? We need to be prayerful. It is getting heavy, old school warrior, and this is, again, folks. I just want to say, if you don't know Jesus as your Savior and Lord, He's welcoming you right now. He's asking you, please, please, please. And the King is coming. Welcome aboard. Psalm 83. We could be looking at that. Again, the prophecy that we could be potentially see fulfilled could be Psalm 83, Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. There's the possibility of Ezekiel 38 and 39 with the Gog-Magog war. These are three things that we could be looking at. It is looking increasingly likely, like Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1, is Damascus is getting hammered right now. Absolutely, getting hammered. And praise God in all things. Praise God in all things. And again, as I like to remind everybody in my videos, it's a simple thing that I say, and it is so simple and so true. Folks, do not be given over to the spirit of fear, but instead of the power of love and of a sound mind that comes through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it's that simple. Okay, this is interesting from Israel Breaking News, folks. Again, this is a note. This says note, note, okay, while Israel begins large-scale public operation against Iran and Syria tonight, next door in Lebanon lies 150,000 plus missiles belonging to Hezbollah waiting to be fired with a simple order from Iran. Now, these are these little missiles, I believe, that Hezbollah has. These little, I forget what they're called. They look like little tin cans with triangles on the front of them, cones on the front of them. But again, while Israel begins large-scale operation against Iran and Syria tonight, next door in Lebanon, this is per Israel Breaking News, lies 150,000 missiles belonging to Hezbollah waiting to be fired with a simple order from Iran. Something to consider. Something to consider. We've got that out there too. We have more than enough things to keep ourselves concerned with right now. That if that thing with Riyadh, if that is true, if there were just 4 large explosions in Riyadh, I'm trying to find that. If that would be another door open to this veritable feces show that is taking place in the Middle East right now. And again, we're waiting for the big dogs to get involved in this. And it's okay. BBC World News is again reporting Iranian forces fire rockets at Israeli position. Um, Again, seems like other than explode, we've had reports of some more explosions in Damascus. There seems to be a quieting down here at the moment, but you know that this is temporary. All my sources are currently going quiet right now. It could be that they're just they're polishing up the next round of missiles. They're getting everything ready, fueling jets, reconnoitering, as they call it. Forces are reconnoitering to get ready. Zion, that's interesting. Heavy noises of planes in Tel Aviv. Okay, that's a very interesting point. Irregular. That is a very terrific point. Again, you in Tel Aviv, you are away from the heart of this action. Now, AMT reported that Saudi hit. Okay, well, hopefully Chris is right on that. I wouldn't be surprised on that. I'm still trying to I'm wondering where they sourced that from. But it could be it could be something I'm just missing right now. Again, I'm looking at so many different things. Sometimes I look in the most simple of places, and I mean, even on Drudge now, the headline in red is Air Raid Sirens, Israel, IDF, Iranian forces fire rockets. Okay, so Drudge has even picked up on this now. Drudge is sometimes very good about grabbing the stuff as soon as it happens. Sometimes they're a little slow to react. Sometimes Drudge is a little too concerned with Stormy Daniels and the like. That Riyadh thing again, and you got Yemen. Okay, so we've got multiple hot spots tonight in the Middle East, and again, folks, I want to ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. If you were in the chat, please pop in and say hi. Please give this a thumbs up. I'm getting fatigued, but I'm going to keep going for a while. Old school warrior, you never cease to crack me up. CNN, got to trust CNN. Nothing but the truth out of them. Oh man, you never cease to crack me up. Please share this. Check out the links to my fiction book. If you're into watching stuff like this, you'd like my fiction. It may be as much nonfiction as fiction. I'm drinking a lot of water right here, but it's going to get me through, because I can't beg off on this yet. I mean, we've just got too many things that could, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, too many things that could take place. Hypersonic Monkey Brains, thank you for everything. Thank you. Zion, thank you. I would appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. Putin issues warning. That's per the King's Coming. Sorry, Riyadh, correct spelling. You know, it's not hard to misspell Riyadh. Again, shout outs, Hypersonic Monkey Brains, Hussein Jafar, Zion Guetta, the King is Coming, Shayna Lee Wages, who else? Old School Warrior, LA Prepper was in here. That's what I can see right now. Thanks for being here. If you are out there, pop in the chat, just say hi. Please let me know you're here. It's not a humongous group, but it's a decent sized group, and we're active and participating. We're watching the potential of history being made here tonight, depending on how this all develops. The only peace is through Jesus. The only peace is through Jesus. And his peace is through strength. It's through strength, and it's through his gift of grace, which is our salvation. It just seems like everything is gone. Media silent all of a sudden. It seems like media silent. That's the frame. Radio silence. Folks, I love radio. I love radio. I'd love to be on the radio. I've often thought about doing pirate radio, but I shouldn't do pirate radio because I would get caught. And once I got caught doing pirate radio, I'd be in a lot of trouble. It seems like now Golan Heights, if you're into Twitter, is trending on Twitter, but it seems like they're just way behind on this, and most of it is just anti-Israel tweets, just a lot of Israel bashing, um, as you would expect on Twitter. Um, it seems like that's not so much. I've got other things I'm looking at here that are providing more up-to-date information, but even those sources have slowed. There's probably a sorting out period right now where again, um, well, the main old school warrior, that's a great point. But the mainstream media, I mean, CBS was carrying something on this. I had CBS open a while ago. Um, but and that's interesting too. Barf 245. Alex Jones is saying Trump has ordered the media blackout. That you never know. But even these sources that I've been referencing for the last 3 hours have suddenly stopped. And maybe there's just nothing new to put up at the current moment. But even all of these sources, Nagal Ghazawi, all these people, all of whom are located, situated in the Middle East, have gone silent on this. And it could be that there just is nothing new at the moment to report. That there may be some manner of quiet right now, as there is a reload, maybe a reconnoitering. Maybe again, there's always the possibility that they may shut down once the sun rises. Um, LA Prepper, thank you. Um, I always appreciate your comments. I appreciate you being here. Um, it could be there's just a holding pattern at the moment, but we've got to be prayerful, folks. We've got to be prayerful. As if I seem like I'm winding down a little bit, honestly, I could use a hit of caffeine, but I don't have any coffee made, so I can't run. Stephen Ben-Noon, okay, Stephen Ben-Noon would certainly have a bird's eye on that. Yes, he would. Um, and so that information on Riyadh could indeed be true, and if that is true, holy crap, um, that is going to be something. Um, Unfortunately, I can't go make any coffee. You don't have time for me to go make coffee. I don't have any soda that I can drink. I don't have any bottled caffeinated beverages, unfortunately. I don't have a bottle of soda I can, but I'm going to keep fighting through, folks. I'm going to keep fighting through. All I would need to perk me up is some new events to break on this stuff, and I will be reinvigorated. Right now, I'm kind of losing my steam a little. Throat's a little sore from speaking and from the allergies. The fact that there's just nothing here. I gotta lean back a little bit. Oh, good gosh. As they say in that song, War, good God, y'all. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, there's nothing new. Nothing new, nothing new, nothing new for you. Stay with me, folks. Just every time this slows down, it just seems like it's just for a few minutes, and then there's all sorts of new events that pop up. All right, what does this say here? Yeah, again, this is still. I'm looking at an article now on the Sun from the UK, which is as much a porn site as a news site, but they do have good news here. Um, Again, a lot of this seems to be about an hour or two behind the times, and these sources that are providing the up-to-date stuff seem to have gone quiet. And I know that this is not over. There may be a break. This is not over. This is not over. I have to think that this again could be a day's event. This could be an event that does develop into full scale war. Old school warrior. I was thinking about that, but I'm afraid if I sign off, I'm going to be done for the day. I'm going to be nighty night. Um, that's something I don't want to do. Um, Zion, that's interesting. There's a rumor in Israel that you can't share, but let me tell you, if it's true, the future is not so bright. The future is bright. The immediate may not be so bright. The immediate may not be so bright. We are very likely on the verge of something. Okay, things are popping here again. Hang with me. See, all I need is this to reinvigorate me a little bit. Um, Okay, Nadal Ghazawi, again from Syria, is reporting several Division 4 positions were destroyed in Damascus City. Division 4 is one of the strongest Assad regime divisions in the country. So some of this Division 4, which again, according to this information here, is one of the strongest Assad regime divisions in the country, has been destroyed. Has been destroyed. Okay, that's not going to go over well. Let's see. It's not going to go over well with the Russians or the Iranians, let alone Assad. All right. And again, Maza Military Airport apparently struck for the second time this either. Okay, it's probably pronounced Mazay. Mazay Military Airport apparently struck for the second time this evening. Syrian air defenses are still in action over Damascus, Kiswa, Homs, and Daraa. Okay, so things are still happening there. They may not be happening with the intensity that they were an hour ago, but things are still happening there, folks. And just that little bit right there. But the fact that we've had a Division 4 hit. That's evidently one of Assad's mains. They've been hit. That's been destroyed. That's not going to go over well. That's not going to go over well with the Iranians. That's not going to go over well with the Russians. This, again, chocolate warrior. Yeah, I could use some chocolate. Anybody got any chocolate? Chocolate would help. Oh, you know what I have? Ha! Hey, look what I have. I forgot about this. This will help me a little bit. I've got Twizzlers, pull and peel. Whoa, look at that. Hey, sugar. Okay. You know, I already had some of these earlier, but this might be just a little bit I might need. I hate to eat these in front of you, folks. Oh, yeah, these are the best. These are so good. You know, you can make a mustache with them. See, look at this. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, huh? I'm very mature, very mature. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. This may help me a little bit. I forgot I had this sitting right here. Zion, that's a very important point. I was going to do a report on that earlier, and I didn't. I had to get out fishing. But Saudi Arabia has said that if Iran develops a nuclear weapon, which I believe they already have, they will start developing too. And I believe Saudi Arabia already has. Just a notion I have. All right. Oh, these are so good. Hopefully I won't go into sugar shock. Let's see here. All right, maybe some new information right here, folks. Let me see. Okay. This is just popping up right now from Strategic Sentinel. Israeli forces on alert in southern Israel now, for possible attack from Gaza. So now we have Israeli forces on alert in southern Israel for possible attack from Gaza. So Zion, please be careful, okay? That may be a little closer if now we're concerned about southern Israel and the breach there. Be careful, Zion. Zion, do you have a place to go if somehow something was to come toward Tel Aviv? Do you have a shelter of some kind where you could get hidden away? Let us know, okay? Because we are concerned about you here. Seriously, you are while you're separate from all the action right now, you're close. You're regionally close, and this could spill your way. The fact that Israel's now concerned about an attack coming from the south, from Gaza. I hope you've got a bomb shelter or something that you can get to if you have to. Okay, so that was interesting news. I'm sorry, folks. Let me just shove the rest of this in my mouth, okay? Swallow this down. Maybe it'll help me a little bit. This is a square meal right here. This is everything you need for breakfast right here. See that? This will set you up for the whole day. Well, that's good to know, Zion. Thank you. Thank you. That's good to know that you're safe there. This is a complete breakfast. All right. Um, that'll help. But again, other than that, folks, we have. Bear with me here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Look at this. Okay. Okay. These people here got to get caught up on information. They're running about an hour to 2 hours behind here. All right. Okay. So again, it seems like information is getting to be a little spotty right now. But that's okay. We'll just have to remind everyone to remain prayerful throughout the night. Okay. And Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I encourage you, if you don't know him, please get to know him. We are looking at the possibility of potential biblical prophecy here. We're looking at the possibility of major warfare breaking out right now. It may be we major war in the Middle East. I'm not talking major. I'm talking major that will drag the big dogs, Russia and the U.S., into it. It could be happening right now. Now, Don Ramon DeCalfis, why is this not on the mainstream media? This is not on the mainstream media because all they primarily care about Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen, Robert Mueller, how many Russians tampered with the election, where Donald Trump slept in Russia, his golden showers. That's what the mainstream media cares about. Okay, the mainstream media is basically it's tabloid. It's tabloid television. That's what it's become. So therefore they don't give a rat's behind about this stuff taking place in the Middle East, which is so significant. It doesn't fit their narrative. So therefore, they're not going to report on it. I mean, CBS was carrying a little something on it a while ago, but again, they probably did it just as a cursory move to make it look like they were in the ball game. Now, as far as Israel censoring everything right now, there's a lot of information coming out of there. I don't know if Israel is censoring it, but there has been a lot of information. But all of a sudden, you mentioned that these sources I've been looking at have gone awfully quiet. Awfully quiet. So I don't know if there is some manner of censoring. That's entirely possible. I wish that what I'm looking at right here would come up with something new, but it's a lot of rehash. And yeah, okay. You know what? I think I'm going to close this tab out because there's nothing new going up there. It's mostly just Israel bashing, and we don't need to be looking at that. But again, Israeli forces on alert in southern Israel for possible attack from Gaza. Okay, and there might be some more new information here. Bear with me a second. We might. This goes along with something I was just saying, folks. That Strat Sentinel was tweeting, and this is interesting. If the two forces are still engaging each other in the daylight, which is fast approaching, we will have to consider this is a larger, more pronounced operation. Okay, and that's what I've been saying too. Are they going to continue this into the daylight, or are they going to put this to bed and then maybe resume it again tomorrow night? That is something that Strat Sentinel is also referring to as well. Now this has been going on for 4 hours. This is the most intense skirmish since the Syrian civil war began. So again, this has got all the makings of a regular hot war about to take place. We'll have to wait to see. I mean, it certainly feels like it. It certainly looks like it. Okay, Miss Sassy Lawyer, Damascus electricity cut off. Yeah, that That would not surprise me. And Amy C, welcome aboard. It is sad that we can't even get news anymore. We have to search for it. We do have to search for it because the powers that be want to keep us in the dark. They want to keep us like dumb little sheep that they can herd and manipulate any way they want. And the thing of it is, they're getting away with doing it with the majority of the population. And I'm not saying that to insult anyone, but they are. They are getting away with hurting the majority of the population like sheep, to focus on the stupid, the mundane, the trivial, while stuff like this is of critical, dire, potentially biblical importance. They don't want to touch this. They would rather be the National Enquirer on television. So we have that taking place. This could be as much an indictment on the mainstream media as it is reportage of a major event taking place in the Middle East. This should be the lead story right now on CBS, ABC, MSNBC, NBC, ABCDEFG. It should be the main story on all the alphabets, but you can know damn well it's not. I mean, it's darn well what's running on the alphabets right now. They might give it a cursory glance. They might give it a cursory mention, but this should be the dominant story. All gone. That right there, if that is true, just read Russian fighter squad with Tupolev 152 leaving Syria, heading to Moscow. Okay, why would it be heading to Moscow? To get safe or to get prepped? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm curious about it. I mean, if that is the truth, and I'm not saying it's not, it could very well be. But the reportage on this is really slowing down. Now, as it's getting closer to daylight there, are they going to cut this off? And 24 hours from now, is this going to be just a footnote? Or 24 hours from now, are we going to be involved in some sort of major hot war? It certainly has all the feel of a major hot war. But is there going to be a break, and is there going to be round 2 tomorrow? That's what I'm trying to discern right now. And again, information seems to be coming to a standstill as far as the flow. We will have to wait and see. I was planning on going fishing in the morning, but if this is still hot in the morning, I'm not going to be fishing. I'm going to have to. Now, Lebanese military claimed 4 hostile aircraft violated airspace. That may go along with the fact that Israel did fly a mock bombing run over Lebanon. I think that was about an hour ago. Thanks for mentioning that, Daniel. Zalen, welcome aboard. Thanks for that. It's what have you caught fish on? My Twizzlers Junkyard Jedi? You probably have. So we have, folks, we have just one huge cauldron of boiling soup right now that sounds like it's spilling over. And we do need supernatural protection. We need to be praying. We need to be praying. We need to be praying with those who have scales on their eyes, whose eyes are closed, people who are just not alert or aware of what we could be potentially looking at right now, who are more interested in Stormy Daniels, who are more interested in Kim Kardashian, who are more interested in who's dropping a new beat tomorrow, what the latest makeup techniques are, whatever they may be into, the temporal things of this world. The temporal things of this world that have so many of us distracted. Miss Sassy Lawyer, was this all a setup? It almost seems like it. The timing of these events. Yesterday, Donald Trump announces that he's withdrawing from that farcical Iranian deal that Barack Obama signed on, which I think just basically allowed Iran to start working more earnestly on its nuclear program without being looked at. Then today we have this. Within 24 hours, give or take a few hours, we have this major event taking place now involving Iran, possibly 2 events, as we also had Saudi Arabia hitting targets in Yemen at the same time this is going on with Israeli forces, Syria, and Iran. We have Yemen being hit by the Saudis, some targets in Yemen being hit that were Iranian Houthi targets. So we have that. That's interesting. Business is given 3 to 6 months to get out of Iran. I'd be leaning toward 3, definitely. Saudi Arabia has been intercepting missiles. This has been going on for a few days now, folks. Again, we don't know what tomorrow morning, come sun up tomorrow, we don't know what kind of world we're going to be looking at. But this has all the earmarks of a major hot war. All the earmarks of one. Things could change. Things could change. Jesus is about to rearrange some borders. Oh, goodness, I hope so. But things could change overnight. There could be a sudden calming of all this. It's almost like the Lord could say, no, not yet, not yet. Back down, everybody, back down. Or we could wake tomorrow to find out that a nuclear missile was fired. I mean, this is what we're looking at right now. This is not an all or nothing deal. We're looking at the possibility of different potential things that that could be taking place. This could be calm tomorrow. This could be a full-on hot war tomorrow. There could be a nuclear missile that could have detonated overnight. I mean, these are things that the nuclear missile detonating is highly unlikely, but not out of the realms of possibility. As I am waiting to get more details on this, and again, it seems like everything has just come to a grinding halt all of a sudden. And then we are approaching sunup in that area of the world. And it could be that they're going to put this to rest for the day. And then everybody goes to bed, and then come close to dark again, everybody wakes up and we have round 2. But it seems like there has been some manner of slowing of events here. And I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, wait a minute. We might have something new here. Let's see. Just when we think there may not be anything new. Okay, that's not really new. Israeli or Syrian military sources are claiming that dozens of Israeli rockets have been downed by air defenses this evening. That may be true. We don't know. I'm skeptical, but we may be true. Zion, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Please be safe. God bless you. Please be safe. Okay, even though you're in Tel Aviv, please be safe. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Don Ramon de Califas, that right there, I call Israel attacks Tehran within the next 72 hours, would not surprise me. Would not surprise me. I'm almost more concerned about the other way around. Iran, Russia, and a host of Middle Eastern nations coming at Israel. It might be the other way around too. Again, the possibility of so many different things happening here right now is kind of mind-boggling if you think about it. Folks, I got to say, right now I am getting very tired. My throat is getting sore. There seems to be a slowing of the activities at the moment. I am probably going to bring an end to this right here in just a minute. If I'm awake and if things heat up overnight, I'll be back. If things stay calm, well, we'll pick this up in the morning and see what we're looking at. But as for right now, I'm kind of struggling to talk about things, but I'm going to let this. I'm going to sign out for now. But again, before I go, okay, folks, before I go, I want to leave you with a couple of things, and that is, we need to be very prayerful right now. We're looking at the possibility of significant warfare, the possibility of biblical prophecy being fulfilled, the possibility for the hero to rise. That hero, yeah, and that hero is not going to be any hero, and we know about him. And he's in my new book, by the way. If you want, I just got to throw that pump in there. Light a Wayfarer story. You might meet a new hero in there. Pray, please. And I hate to go because now as I'm saying I'm about to go, more people are popping in. But pray for your safety, pray for your family. Ask actually but Granny, there is a new hero that's going to come. That is the Antichrist. That new hero is going to come. So I took you literally, and you did make a literal point there, even though you were trying to be funny. You did make a literal point. Um, and welcome aboard, by the way. Pray and do not be given over to the spirit of fear. Don't, but instead the power of love and of a sound mind that comes through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Folks, subscribe to my channel. Check out my new book. Glad to have chatted with you tonight. Yeah, we're going to be that false prophet. Be prepared for that. If this stays hot overnight, I might be back. If not, I will see you at something in the morning. God bless you, folks, and I will see you soon.